the final contest that we have for the quarterfinal stage, this particular debate, this is the 26th day of 2026, a beautiful Wednesday, I must say. And today we're going to see contest 3 and contest 4. And contest 3 is going to be between Osei Kyerewie Senior High School and Henema versus one-time champion Kumasi High School and Mrantie. Now these two schools are going to argue for and against the motion quote, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities, unquote. Osei Kyerewie is going to argue for the motion, and Kumasi High School is going to argue against the motion. If this is the first time you are actually watching this competition, know that we do this in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, and also Samara Company Limited, proud producers of Kyerewie Toothpaste, of course, our title sponsor. And so this is for me the icing on the cake, where we get to engage the students and the teachers before we begin everything. And so let me have in my shot right now students from Osei Kyerewie Senior High School and Kumasi High School at this particular moment. I'm just going to go to the school speaking for the motion first. You're welcome. You have 30 seconds to share with us something beautiful from okay, draw closer to me, please.
My name is Prosper Ocho, and a student from Osei Kyerewie Senior High School. Last week we met the Rama and we nailed the competition. That's what I'm telling them around here today, that they should relax, for we are bringing to them bulletproof logics and unmatched energy from the start to the end of the program. Thank you.
Okay, so do you also draw closer to me? Are you ready for the bulletproof?
We are sure ready. Man's part, a big rebuttal to you. We are two-time champions, not a one-time champion, and we are sure to win it today. Okay, be prepared because your fathers are about to discipline you.
Okay, so your father about to discipline you. Let's speak to the patrons quickly. Yes, and get to David to just take it away from me. Yes, and I'm going to go straight to this gentleman also coming from Kumasi High School. And in 30 seconds, also let us know the game plan for your school.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Good afternoon to the audience. My name is Baba Hudu Ibrahim, patron for Kumasi High School. We know, okay, they've been doing quite well, but their effort will be in vain this afternoon because no amount of their great performance can uproot the tree of the Toronto desert. We are coming with heat, and the heat coming from Toronto desert shall consume Okez this afternoon. Okay, so you've heard the answer from Gina say, Team Tafo, what are you saying today too?
My name is Michael Yaboa from Okez, and let me be frank with all of us, the audience and all of us here, that for me, whenever I meet schools of this sort, like Kumasi High and the rest, one word comes to mind, and that is victory. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it.
Okay, victory. Who will be crowned victories? Which school, of course, will be joining the likes of Church of Christ Senior High School and Kyerewie Senior High School to the semifinals? I'm sure you are actually putting down something for yourself. And so, David, I'm done here, so you can actually take it away from me. I'm sure it's going to be very exciting today.
Indeed, it's going to be very exciting. And listen, Patricia, when you mentioned that high school's one-time champions, I wish you were with us in the auditorium to see the faces and the looks on the faces of the students from high school. Charlie, trust me. They were like, what is she saying? Imrantie, Ahenema, Ahenema. Ladies and gentlemen, watching us on television, on Joy Prime, and of course on Joy Learning, watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, listening to us on Radio Love 99.5. We're gathered here this afternoon at the Christian Service University Auditorium, where we're bringing to you Contest 3 and Contest 4 at the quarterfinal stage of the Love FM Kyerewie Toothpaste High School's debate. Listen, the auditorium is charged. The debaters are ready to mount the podium and then fire. Now, the motion for the very first contest of the day, which of course is the third contest, is churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. Two of our judges are Reverend ministers. When they saw the motion, they had different views, and I will tell you why in a bit. But listen, if you're in this auditorium and you're happy and excited to be here, why don't you put your hands together for all our viewers on television and our viewers on social media and our listeners on radio? Make some noise. Well, thank you very much. And of course, all our partners, to start with Ashanti Regional, Education Service, to the Conference of Heads of our sister secondary schools, and of course, to the Ashanti Regional SRC, we say good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for tuning in to Love 99.5, and of course, on Joy Prime, Joy Learning, and all our socials on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. On Monday, we began the quarterfinal stage of the 2026 edition of the Love FM Kelchako Toothpaste High Schools debate. We have two schools advancing to the semifinal stage, and they are KNUST Senior High School and Church of Christ. Now, the fact that they've advanced to the semifinal stage, automatically they become a seeded school for the next year's edition that will be in 2027. Now, we're doing this in collaboration with our title sponsor, and I'll be telling you about our title sponsor in a bit. And I'm talking about Kelchako Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited. Other sponsors include Didi Shito Home Made Taste, Best Brain Publications, Christian Service University, Oneplex 400, Jackson University College, New Generation Investment Services, Amasia Community Bank PLC, Seppo Musical Pen, Bigo and Verna Mineral Water from Trillium Industrial Company Limited, Utuasican Community Bank, Tamak Questions and Answers Textbooks, Orion Cyrus Publications, St. Ben Jewelry, The Sea Travels, Rizzo Gary from Franzacos Limited, and Broadview Christian Academy. Please put your hands together for our sponsors. And on behalf of the organizers, we say thank you very much. Now, this afternoon's contest will be the third contest at the quarterfinal stage of this year's competition, and it's going to be between Osei Kyerewie Senior High School and two-time champions Kumasi High School. Ladies and gentlemen, our chairperson is already seated, and she is with us in this beautiful auditorium. Some of you know her, some of you do not know her. I would like to introduce her to you right now. Now, she is an educationist, a youth and marriage counselor, a preacher, a mentor, and a philanthropist. Now, she has counseled the youth and students since 1978. She is a renowned marriage counselor, and as an educationist, she has over 55 years of experience both in Ghana and abroad. Now, she is a former assistant headmistress of Kumasi High School and also former headmistress of KNUST JHS from 1992 to 2008. Now, she's a co-founder and the principal of Jackson University College, which offers a one-year postgraduate diploma in education, master's and MPhil in maths, English, guidance and counseling, educational leadership and administration, as well as B.Ed programs. Now, in partnership with NIIT India, they offer many technology programs. Now, her passion is to instill moral training to the youth in order to transform society. She's married to Professor Ebenezer Asifua Jackson, and by the grace of God, they've got 4 adult, beautiful children, Daniel, Emmanuel, Nora, and Ebenezer. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Theodosia Wilhelmina Jackson. Okay, with that out of the way, I'd like now to introduce to you a panel of judges who will be doing justice to the debate, because they'll be listening with rapt attention, they'll be listening attentively, and then they'll be scoring as necessary. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you Reverend Joseph Janvible. Now, he's with the theology department here at the Christian Service University. He's been teaching for several years. Please show him some love. Put your hands together for Reverend Joseph Janvible. Reverend Justice Bofa Poku-Mensah is also one of our panel of judges for this afternoon. He's a lecturer at the Christian Service University as well. Now, he is with the Department of Communication Studies. Please show him some love. And then the lead judge, as always, is with us, Dr. Peter Arthur. Now, he is a senior lecturer and former head of the Department of English at KNUST, former head of Department of Language and Communication Sciences, also at KNUST. He's a textual analyst as well. Pierrot is with us, the lead judge. Show him some love. And this afternoon, he's in a red T-shirt. So I was asking whether he's a Liverpool fan or a Man U fan. He said, hey, Man U. And I asked him whether it comes to the local leagues. He said, oh, Kotoko. So no wonder he's in red. Please put your hands together for Pierrot. And at this point in time, I'm going to invite him to mount the podium, grab the microphone, and run us through the rules of engagement and how, as judges, they score for the debaters. One more time, a round of applause for Pierrot.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Madam Chair, as usual, with your permission, I break down the rules for my dear students. My dear students, here are the rules. We have 5 parameters: organization and clarity, arguments and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, and role as a particular debater. Now, for organization and clarity, we know raise a research point, develop it, distribute the points well, have a good conclusion. We know what we have over there. The first speaker is taking 15 marks, and then the second speaker is taking 10 marks, and then the summary is going for 5 marks. Arguments and development, pay attention here. We've been talking about logical progression, causal, whatever, and all that. But this time, we are stepping things higher. We are stepping up. That is motivational warrant. And that is when you speak to, you see, when you speak, you appeal to people's head, right? Yeah, but the next important one is to speak to the heart. So we call it emotional appeal. You have to make sure that you appeal to the emotion of people you are speaking to. The first speaker is having 15 marks, and then the second speaker is having 10 marks, and then for the seminary, we have 5 marks. Then we go to effective use of rebuttal. Listen, at this stage, all of you are very good speakers. At this stage, all of you can argue very well. The difference is your ability to rebut. The advice is that if you're a good speaker, make sure that you can rebut. Because you may take him or her to be an average speaker, but he comes here and he is picking all the points, 15. And you spoke very well, but you were able to pick only 5, you are out. I think you heard me. That is it. So if you're a good speaker, let it reflect your rebuttals. Then you become a round speaker. You understand that? The first speaker is having 5 marks, and then the second speaker is having 10 marks. For the summary, there's nothing there. There's a reason for that. When the first speaker for the 4, that is the pro, comes, nobody has spoken. So he is going to do what you call preemptive rebuttals. 5 marks for that. Now, the first speaker for those against, at least they've heard somebody speak, so they can also rebut. 5 marks for that. But it is the duty of the second speaker to do most of the rebuttals. You heard me? And when the first speaker comes for the summary, every rebuttal that he is going to give counts. But here, we have 5 plus 10. 15. We cannot award more than 15. But if you are very good, you can collect all the 15. Now for presentation style. Now, you are doing well. You are doing well. Your body language is going well, and then your movement is going well, all that, yes. So, again, don't rush us, and let your presentation be very natural. For the first speaker, we have 8 marks for that. Second speaker, we have 5 marks, and for the summary, we have 2 marks. Role as a particular debater. I keep on saying, first speaker, you speak powerfully. Second speaker will support you. But of course, it takes the 2 to win. Be sure about that. And then the first speaker is having 5 marks, and then the second speaker is having 3 marks, and then the summary is going for 2 marks. Now, let's listen to the rules. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion. This time, 6 minutes. You heard me? All right? The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution. Again, 6 minutes. It's no more 10 minutes. You said A. Changes. We are moving up. The second speaker on the affirmative team presents further argument in support of the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker. This time, 4 minutes. The second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against this resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. Again, 4 minutes. Then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statement to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals whenever necessary. This time, 3 minutes. Please take note of the changes in minutes. And then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statement to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. Again, 3 minutes. Now listen, you cannot interrupt the speaker on floor. Wait till it comes your turn. Don't disturb anybody when the person is speaking. Now, the principal speaker, either on the affirmative team or the opposing team, listen carefully, should raise 3 points. And then the supporting speaker should raise 2 points. There is a change, right? So you've got to follow the change. And then when you speak, you have to be audible enough. Now, other external rules. He who asserts, I like that. What were you doing? Don't be sleeping. He who asserts, I like that. And in order to establish an assertion, the team must support it with enough facts and evidence. Facts and evidence must be accurate. We won't accept video evidence at the zonal stage. Tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibits to support facts. And then in rebuttals, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the point raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to the questions and not to make statements, comments, or ask any rhetorical question. And supporters must exercise discipline. Now, you are not supposed to induce or to frustrate or to intimidate the debaters in any form. If you fail to do that, marks will be deducted. Now let's come to time. You are on floor speaking, and then you hear the bell. The moment you hear the bell, you have to stop. Walk quietly to your seat. If you disobey the bell, marks will be deducted. And then we have majority decision, and that means that the results from the judges, the results from 2 judges carries the day. I repeat, majority means results of 2 judges carry the day. And then we have the unanimous decision. All the 3 will score for a particular school. Reporting time for contest is 9 a.m. each day. Now.
All right, so forgive me. All right, so unfortunately, he was giving some different, rules to read. So this is the original one we'll be using all throughout. So we would stick to the old rules. So, for example, when Dr. Peter Arthur says that the principal speaker has 7 minutes, no, you still have your 10 minutes. As principal speaker, you still have your 10 minutes. Supporting speaker, you have your 7 minutes. For the summaries, you have the 5 minutes. Same rule as we began, this competition with during the main competition. Prof.
I think I have to go again. Please listen to the rules again. Listen to the rules again. And sorry for that. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion 10 minutes. So we've gone to the old. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument in opposing the resolution 10 minutes. And then the second speaker on the affirmative team presents further argument in support of the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker. 7 minutes. You are now at your ease, isn't it? It should be. And then the second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies further areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. 7 minutes. And then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with a closing statement to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. 5 minutes. The principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statement to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals. 5 minutes for that. Speakers must be audible in their presentation. There cannot be any interruption, and you have to wait for your turn. Now, the principal speaker is presenting 5 points. So we are back to the old. And then the supporting speaker is presenting 3 points. Okay, so a few changes here. To the old, we say that we either have a majority decision, that means 2 are scoring for a school, and no matter how huge the other one is, no. And then there could also be unanimous decision, 3 of them judging for them. Now, if you have any problem whatsoever, you turn to the gentleman, the fine gentleman on my right. He will sit you and he will solve every problem for you. Reporting time, this time still holds 12:30 p.m. And if you fail, you will be disqualified. Okay, Mr. MC, I'm through with my work.
At least for now, the main work is just about to begin. Please put your hands together for Dr. Peter Arthur. To our viewers and to our audiences on radio, apologies for the mishap. Honestly, we don't even know how that one happened. Apologies all of you. And to the debaters, relax. Same rules apply. Are we good to go? No. Are we good to go? Yes. So let's do it this way. Ahenema. Yes, that's the spirit. Ahenema. Yes, one more time. Ahenema. Yes, okay. Imrantia. All right, so the third contest at the quarterfinal stage of the Love FM High Schools debate for the year 2026, brought to you by Kelchaco Toothpaste, is just about to begin. And like I said, we have 2 winners already from the quarterfinal stage. They have advanced to the semifinals: KNUST Senior High School and Church of Christ Senior High School. This afternoon's motion is churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. And okay, they are for the motion, and high school, they are against the motion. Now, the same time applies. So for the principal speaker, you have 10 minutes. Now, when you have spent 7 minutes on your time, you have 3 more minutes to go. Kelvin will do this for you. Now, when your 10 minutes is entirely up, Kelvin will support you by doing this. And then when it gets to the supporting speakers, you have 7 minutes. For you, when you have spent 5 minutes and you have 2 more minutes to go, he would alert you by this. And then when your whole 7 minutes is up, this is what you would hear. Then the principal speakers will come back again. They would have 5 minutes to give the summaries. 5 minutes, when you are 3 minutes into your 5, you would hear this. And then when your time, 5 minutes is up again, you would hear that. Okay, so like Dr. Peter Arthur said to you, if you are bailed out, stop whatever you're doing, put the microphone down and go and sit. If not, marks will be deducted. Now again, he's already informed me that we have the majority rule as well as the unanimous rule. Unanimous simply means that all 3 judges, as I've already introduced to you, they score for the winning school. That is unanimous. The majority means that 2 out of the 3 score for the winning school. So no matter what mark you get from one judge, if let's say it's 1 million and the 2 other judges score for another school, that school that had 2 judges scoring for them will advance. It's now time for us to begin the debate. And we cannot do the debate without asking the students to stand and sing for us their school anthem. Ahenema. Yes, you can. Ahenema. Yes, you can. Ahenema. Yes, you can. Mpamocho munjina hoe. Mfa mutri mudani njina ho. Na mfa mutri mudani ntumu anthem so maye. Are you ready to sing for us your school anthem? Yes. One thing I like about you guys for now is you have beautiful smiles, happy smiles on your faces. No wonder you're making use of the Kelchaco Toothpaste given to you. Are you? Yes, what? We are. Okay. So, Francis, if you're ready, they are standing, they want to sing their school anthem, support them, assist them to sing the anthem. So, on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Children of the great Ashanti King, brave and strong.
put your hands together for yourselves. And please make some noise as we welcome your debaters. Osei. Okay, so Murphy Yao Asare is the principal speaker, supported by Michelle Safua, a PhD. And there they are. They've been here twice already during the main contest, and during the round of 16 they were here, and they are here now to partake at the quarterfinal stage. All right, so when Patricia Amabons was engaging with the patron and the students out there, they said they were going to use bullets. So they have taken their seats. I'm sure they have the bullets, and they'll be releasing the bullets in no time. Then Kumasi High School said they were going to use nails. They're going to nail them. So Imrantia, please stand for me as well. Don't sing with the nails in your throat, though, because you will not be able to sing audibly. Put the nails somewhere for now and sing for us the school anthem. Are you ready to do that? Oh, high school, I can't hear you. Are you ready to do that? So let's do it on 3. 1, 2, go. As you shout for joy and as you put your hands together, let's then welcome your debaters. Raymond Opoku-Agyemang is the principal speaker. Ronald Etuahene is the supporting speaker. Or you can keep your hands, put your hands together. Keep clapping as they join us. Keep clapping as they join us. Okay. So the motion is churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. Osei Kyerewie Senior High School, who are to my right in the auditorium, they are for the motion. Kumasi High School, they are to my left in the auditorium, they are against the motion. When I get the opportunity, one thing I often say is this: listen, these are young minds, young students who have put together their own research work, and they're about to debate on this motion. If you're a church, if you're a pastor, if you're somebody who is religious and you hear your name mentioned in any way, don't be bitter about it. Nobody is here to, destroy you, but please, it's for this educational purpose. Madam Chairperson, do you have your blessings to begin? She says yes. Accurate timekeeper, is your bell working? He said it is working. The panel of judges, are you ready? Students in this beautiful auditorium, are you ready? I can hear you. Are you ready? One more time, are you ready? Well, if you are ready, let's welcome Murphy Yao Asare to begin the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, imagine thousands of worshippers entering the church with nothing but faith in hearts and money earned through the sweat in their hands. Sunday after Sundays, those small contributions can become millions. But here is the question this house must confront. When millions can enter through an offering bowl, why should accountability stop at the church door? The house. We are not saying that the church is a supermarket. Neither are we saying salvation is for sale. We are saying that an institution entrusted with enormous financial resources must equally have a strong system of accountability. Because when the widow gives her last coin, when the farmer gives from his harvest, and when the worker gives from his salary, they deserve more than prayers. They deserve transparency. Greetings to the chair, bold and impartial panel of judges. Accurate timekeeper protocols, duly observed. I am Morphia Asare, representing Osei Kyerewie Senior High School, and as well as the principal speaker, speaking to affirm the motion on board, and I quote, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. And quote, the ever beautiful chairperson, as custom demands, allow me to take responsibility and clarify this motion. According to Wikipedia, a church is a building used for Christian worship services and Christian activities. Business structure is an organization, business entity is an organizational structure that allows the government to tax businesses and assumes liability. Be registered in this debate means to be regarded by state authority, thereby acquiring a legal identity. All in all, the motion simply means that churches should remain places of worship, but also should have proper legal identity that should enable them to be held accountable. My opponents have no other option but to mount this podium and argue that a church is a religious institution, not a business, and that church exists to serve God, not to make profits. But this is an equivocation. Reverend, we are not saying that churches should become profit-making organizations. We are talking about legal incorporation and accountability. The Office of Registrar Companies in the Companies Act 2019, as 992 Section 8 Clause 1, itself recognizes churches as business companies limited by a guarantee not to make profits. So my opponent's attempt to equate registering churches as business entities to commercialization is fundamentally misplaced. My opponents may also come here and argue that when churches are registered as business entities, the government may have control over churches. Panel of judges, permit me to ask this question. Control over what? Would the registration determine what the pastor preaches? Would the registration rewrite the Bible? Would the registration dictate when Christians should worship? No. Registration simply gives the church legal recognition and makes it accountable for the resources they manage. A religion deserves freedom, but freedom has never meant freedom from accountability. This into concept, our premier point in favor of our stance is that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities to promote financial accountability and transparency. Thus, when thousands of ordinary Ghanaians entrust their hard-earned money to an institution through tithes, offering, and fundraising, one thing must never be missing: accountability. The question of how those monies are managed cannot be treated as private matters. This is where it is important to register churches as business, to give them a proper legal identity and place them within a proper corporate framework. For clear arguments and developments, technical team, for this video.
Apa yeka anro na from wo bishop so suffocate to aso asori mpayinfo steward for so moya akoromfo serious okay moya akoromfo.
Breaking news, Abuja, resurrecting power, new generation. Emrantie, any asolefo, aye demonstration tenchilente, ante so mo trese. Omo asole mpayinfo Eddie Asolisika, Omo collection, Omo tight, Chomanu, Yakasem, Omudi.
How pathetic it is. The house, when church members are seen going on rampage like this, the core reason has always been poor monitoring accountability. Something that shouldn't happen in the house of the Lord because it is considered a blasphemy which can bring the image of the Lord to a disrepute. The house, Akwa from KNUST, in its research establishes that accountability and transparency have significant relationship on church members' money. Now, in the same vein, Boafo Afo, in its research also establishes that church needs strong financial accounting. Therefore, panel, our proposal for proper registration is not an attack on religion. It is a practical response for governance needs. To our second point, we further assert that churches should be registered as business entities to protect church property and assets. The house, churches own valuable properties ranging from lands and buildings to schools, hospitals, and other investments. The house, these assets are built from the sacrifices of ordinary Ghanaians. But what happens when the founder dies, leaves the church, or dispute arises between church leaders without a proper corporate framework. Ownership of these properties can become a serious source of conflict. Therefore, a properly registered business entity can hold property in its own legal name rather than leaving church assets vulnerable to disputes involving individuals. That was following the death of Apostle Kweju Sapo Kantanka in the year 2025. A succession dispute arose within the Christo Asafo mission, where 2 church members dragged the church to court. Not only this, Graphic Online also reported that Honorable Adwa Safo was shot over this dispute. This demonstrates why churches should not be built entirely on one individual, but must have a corporate identity that is bigger than the leaders, the elders, and the pastors themselves. Because, Madam Chairperson, leaders may die, leaders may retire, and leaders may leave, but the church must continue, not be left fighting over its future. To our third point, we further submit that churches should be registered as business entities to protect employees and workers. Thus, a church does not only have congregants, it has workers. Within the church, we have security personnel, media workers, drivers, musicians, and many people who serve the institution. Panel of judges. These are not strangers to the church. They are people working to the growth of the church. Now, faith should never be an excuse for unfair employment practices. This is why it is important to register church as business entities, to give them a proper legal identity. Now, Reverend, imagine a pastor who served the church for years only to be dismissed without proper procedure. Is it fair to anybody sitting in this auditorium? This is why it is important to register churches as business entities, so they can encourage churches to have proper written contracts. A perfect case study is Reverend Ebenezer Budi versus Perez International Ministry. According to a 2025 legal analysis, he alleged that he was abruptly removed as the head pastor of the Atomic branch without any proper communication. Panel, if a person can dedicate nearly 2 decades of his life only to be dismissed, then this time around, we need accountability. We need structures. We need rules. This is why we from the affirmative side believe that churches should be registered as business entities to safeguard and protect church employees. To our 4 points, we further submit that churches already engage in business activities, therefore should be registered as business entities. My opponents may have expected this point, and I'm glad not to disappoint. Now, let us look at the reality of today's churches. A church may begin with worship, but many churches today operate businesses upon businesses. The house, my opponents, pay attention. We are not saying that these activities make the church profit-making enterprise. Don't come and get yourself twisted. We are saying that this complex operation require a clear legal and administrative structure. An article published on Adom Online, captioned "Churches Now Business Entities in Ghana," reveals that churches in Ghana today are now business ventures, and the government may see them as such. Thank you, David. Our point is simple. If an institution can have millions in their assets and operate multiple ventures, then this institution must be mature enough to operate a clear legal structure. Need I say, Mother Chair, to our fifth point, we further submit that churches should be registered as business entities to enable them meet appropriate tax obligation. My dear audience, look around Ghana today, and you notice that many churches handle enormous amounts of money through the sales of items marketed as spiritual soaps, such as Ebuda Munsu, Yes Moja, anointing oils, and other spiritual soaps. Believe you me, an ordinary Ghanaian can spend a whooping 5,000 Ghana cedis just to purchase these items. Yet, here we have these self-acclaimed preachers of genius telling us that because it is church money, nobody should ask questions about it. Well, we beg to differ. The house, this is why Honorable Sektepe, a former finance minister, said that a church's operating business must pay tax. Because how is the Vienna bottles placing on our table different from the Vienna bottles our pastors are selling in the church? The house, if 2 people are engaging in business, why should one be expected to operate under a taxable framework and the other one is shielded simply because it is called a church? You might want to come and explain. The house, the Bible even affirmed our cry in Luke chapter 20 verse 25. When Jesus, the founder of church, said that give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give unto God what belongs to God. My opponents, are you trying to challenge the words of our Lord Jesus? Unless you are trying to tell me that you are more Christian than our Lord Jesus Christ. The chair, the house, my assertions are very clear. My rebuttals on point. I rest my case.
The House, my opponent, notes that to register a church as a business entity is to put a price tag on salvation. The church feeds the hungry when the state cannot, educates the child when the state has no classroom, and gives hope when society gives despair. Yet, because churches receive offerings, pay workers, and own properties, our opponent from Okes suddenly wants this house to transform its purpose from worship into business. But I tell you, the House, by the time our opponent recognizes the magnitude of the error, they have invited this house to embrace. We, the Emantie, would have already led this house to the only destination, supported by evidence, logic, and sound economics. With this, the chairperson, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, all other protocols duly observed. Good afternoon. Representing Kumasi High School, I am Raymond Opoku Ajiman, the principal speaker, speaking in full opposition of the motion today, which I quote, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities, unquote. The chairperson, to ensure conceptual clarity and avoid semantic ambiguity, I therefore proceed to explain the key terms in this motion. From the biblical perspective, a church, which in the Greek language means ecclesia, refers to the called out one, and from 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9, it refers to a group of chosen people, God's holy nation, a royal priesthood, and God's special possession, whom God has taken from darkness into light. The chair, from the Cambridge Dictionary, registered refers to the past tense of the word register, which means officially listed and accepted. The Rex Encyclopedia defines a business entity as a legally recognized organization that engages in commercial, industrial, or professional activities with the aim of getting profit. All in all, the chair, the motion is simply telling us that churches in Ghana should be treated and recognized like businesses rather than mainly as religious or non-profit organizations. The chair and the House, in the presentation of the principal speaker for Okes, he read his presentation titled as preemptive rebuttals. But the chair, they are not. That's notwithstanding, allow me to point out the preemptive rebuttals that are not in our point. The chair and the House, he asserted that we will say that the government may have control over churches, but please, that is not in our point. Also, the chair and the House, Okes, allow me to bless you, because after all, the points that you said we will say it, and after all, we the Emantie will emphasize it well and substantiate it with claims that our opponents have no knowledge of. In light of this, point 5 or point 1, we debate that a church is fundamentally a business entity. Therefore, registering them as business entities will violate their core mandates. Ladies and gentlemen, a church is primarily established to facilitate worship, proclaim the faith, disciple believers, evangelize, and serve society. And this applies to all churches in the whole wide world. Therefore, I put it to my opponent to mount this podium. Yes, Murphy and Michelle, mount this podium and tell us the churches you attend, their branches, and prove with credible evidence that during your church service on Sundays, these core mandates that I have said are never exhibited in your churches, but until then, they have simply accepted their deviation and defeat. The chair, Matthew chapter 21 verse 12 to 13 says that, quote and unquote, Jesus entered the temple court and drove out all who were buying and selling there. And he said to them, it is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers. Now, my opponent, notice something important here. There was buying and selling in the house of the Lord, but Jesus did not redefine the temple as a marketplace. Instead, he condemned the commercial activities because they were taking place in the house dedicated to worship. The chair and the House. Point 2, we argue that the Ghana's constitution protects religious freedom. Hence, registering churches as business entities will be a contravention of this right enshrined in the constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, Article 26 Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana states that, quote, every person is entitled to enjoy, practice, profess, promote, and maintain any religion subject to the provisions of this constitution, unquote. This provision directly supports the core mandate of the church already established in my previous point. Now, the chair and the House, these are not commercial activities, so they are the very means through which religion is practiced, maintained, and promoted. Therefore, if the constitution expressly protects the practice and promotion of any religion, would that not be contradictory to place the very institutions carrying out these same religious functions under a classification designed for ordinary commercial enterprises? The chair and the House, accountability can be demanded without interfering with the religious character of the church. Likewise, Likewise, we cannot protect religious freedom on one hand and commercialize the institution through which that freedom is exercised on the other. And until Ukes can mount this podium and prove otherwise with an evidence superior to the constitution of this land, I ramble on. Point 3, we argue that the existing corporate structure of Ghana already accommodates churches. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's legal framework provides a suitable corporate structure for churches. This means that churches can operate as companies limited by guarantee, a structure designed for organizations that are not established to distribute profits among their members. Now, the chair, this is not merely our opinion like Ukes did today. The Office of the Registrar of Companies itself lists churches as examples of companies limited by guarantee. More importantly, Section 8 of the Companies Act 2019 says that such companies cannot be incorporated for the purpose of making profits for their members, while Section 75 also prohibits them from distributing dividends to members. To the chair and the House, if the law has already created a suitable corporate structure for churches that does not make profits for its members its purpose, why are our opponents trying to put religious institutions into the shoes of an ordinary commercial enterprise? Point 4, we argue that registering churches as business entities will amount to commercializing spirituality. Ladies and gentlemen, the church is meant to be a place where people worship, seek spiritual guidance, grow in faith, and serve others. Therefore, when we officially treat the church as a business entity, we risk shifting attention from its spiritual purpose to commercial interest. Now, the House, let's get interactive. Ahinema, pick up your Bibles. In John chapter 2, verse 16, Jesus said that, quote and unquote, "Do not make my Father's house a house of merchandise." In fact, Ahinema, let me take you deeper into the realms of the word. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 5 warns against those who suppose that godliness is a means of gain. So the chair and the House, if scripture warns us not to turn God's house into a marketplace and not to treat godliness as a means of gain, how come then Ukes mount this podium to tell us that churches should be treated as business entities? The chair and the House, a research conducted by Seth Chineboa and George Anderson Jr. from the University of Cape Coast examined the commercialization of religion in Ghana. Their research specifically identified the commercialization of religious items and services and found that, or explains how followers can become quote and unquote religious consumers. Now, the chair and the House, we are not saying that churches should never handle money. What we are saying is that we should not create a system that encourages people to measure a spiritual institution by the logic of commerce. Point 5, we argue that registering churches as business entities defies international best practices. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain this point. This point means that churches are fundamentally religious and truth-based institutions, not profit-making businesses. Therefore, treating them as business entities is inconsistent with the way religious organizations are generally approved under international standards. The chair and the House, a report, or rather, of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, states in its guidelines for review of legislation pertaining to religion and belief that, quote and unquote, the registration of business entities or business organizations or the registration of religious organizations should not be mandatory per se. The chair and the House, allow me to ask my opponent this question. If international regulatory practice distinguishes between corporate capacity and commercial purpose, why should Ghana deliberately erase that distinction? A question I pose to you and surely demand an answer. Now, the chair, to some assertions made by the Ahinema on the ground, the chair and the House, they asserted that churches should be registered as business entities because churches already engage in business activities in their fourth point. Now, the chair and the House, that is a composition fallacy because the existence of a commercial arm does not make the entire institution commercial. A church operating a school does not mean worship has suddenly become education. Equally, a church operating a business does not mean worship has suddenly become commerce. The chair and the House, my assertions are clear. In one year, we have spoken. Therefore, I rest my case. Thank you.
The chair, the House, registering a church does not mean selling the gospel or putting God under the control of the government. It simply provides legal structure and accountability. However, judges, let us understand that churches may be spiritual in its message, but then operate physically in its activities because it receives money, manage resources, and then accounts to resources. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, like every other institution, they must keep proper records and account for the resources entrusted in them. Just like Luke chapter 16 verse 10 teaches, whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. And so the house, where there is money, there must be accountability, and where there is trust, there must be responsibility. With this, the chair, impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, colleague debaters, all protocols duly observed. Good afternoon. From Osei Kyerewie Senior High School, I am Michelle Apeje-Safo, the supporting speaker, speaking vehemently to affirm the motion before the house. And I quote, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. Unquote. The house, I know my principal speaker has already elaborated the motion to its simplest form. Therefore, per my role as a subordinate speaker, permit me to add up my points. But before that, judges, allow me to dismantle and debunk some baseless assertions made by my opponent. The house, my opponent mounted this podium and asserted that churches are spiritual institutions, not businesses. My opponent, this is right. But anyways, know that churches operate physically in its administration. Therefore, registering churches does not commercialize the gospel. So please, do not mount this podium and contradict legal registration with the selling of gospel, because they are not the same. Again, the house, my opponent mounted this podium and asserted that the constitution has asserted that churches should not be registered. Obey my opponent. We know our plight and we are suffering, not the constitution. So please do not mount this podium and talk about constitution. Again, they asked us a question that we going to church, don't they exhibit moral lesson in us? The house, they do. But then we should know that although they exhibit moral lesson in us, still they should be registered as legal entities in order for them to make proper accountability to we the members. Again, the house, they mounted this podium and asserted that if national organization has said churches should not be registered, then why are we saying they should be registered? The house, they are talking about international organization and we are talking about Ghana. I know Ghana forms part of international organization, but they should bear in mind, we the people, we the citizens here in Ghana know what we are suffering, know what is going in the church. Therefore, we oppose that churches, we agree that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. And again, the house, they asserted that the selling of other stuffs in churches does not make churches are businesses. The house, they themselves have even asserted that they sell stuff in the church, therefore they are business. My opponent, you are right, but that is not, we are not interested in the selling of items in the church. Neither are we saying these leaders are corrupt. Obviously, no, we are saying there should be proper legal structure which will promote the leaders to be accountable for we the leaders. This leads me to my first point by saying that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities because it will protect the church members and the public from irresponsible organizations. Mrs. Jackson, faith is sacred, but the people who gather in places of worship are human beings who need protection under the law. However, Dr. Atta, today some individuals establish organizations, take offering, donation, exercise enormous influence over these people. So my opponent, without proper legal structure, then these churches will not be accountable for us. But before I continue the house, let us watch this video.
One person be catch us a main tongue, main G offering. Audience show with my so turn 100 cities. To buy me office, I'm seeing show with Koto, Baku 5. Na me fanya adema.
Oh, you are Dr. Atta. We are not against the selling of items in the church. Neither are we saying these pastors are corrupt. What we are saying is that there are genuine institutions. For that matter, there should be legal structure to distinguish these genuine churches from those who may exploit religion for their personal gain. Reverend, this is not merely my attack. In September 2024, an accountant of police service was convicted and sentenced to 2 years in prison after misappropriating 40,433.50 Ghana cedis in the house. According to Ghana News Agency, he had access to the church mobile money account, payroll, and offertory. So my opponent, imagine if there were proper legal structure. Would such an incident have happened? I expect you to mount this podium and answer. With this, Madam Chair, when there is faith, it has nothing to fear from accountability. And we are not putting God in a register. Take note, we are putting human institution under the responsibility. So therefore, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities, not to weaken the altar, but then to protect the people who need kneel before these altars? Point 2, the chair. We argue that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities because it will not destroy the spiritual nature of the earth. Dr. Atta, I know my opponent will man this podium and want us to believe that churches are spiritual institutions. Therefore, why should we register them? My opponent, you are right, but then let us make an analysis here. Legality and spirituality are not enemies. And besides the house, registering churches as business entities does not control what the church believes, how it worships, or what it preaches. In fact, Article 21, Clause 1C of the 1992 Constitution guarantees the right to practice and manifest religion. So my opponent, even with the Constitution has given us the freedom to manifest one's religion, then please do not man this podium and contradict yourself. And Mr. Jackson, please let us understand that registering churches as business entities deal mainly with the church money, account, and not its religion, faith, and to even those who may decide not to register churches in the name of making profit can still register. Ghana NPO recognize that non-profit organizations can be legally registered while maintaining their spiritual purpose. The house, this is a clear evidence. A church can have a legal structure without interfering in its spiritual purpose. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, registering churches as business entities is more like you having a registered certificate does not take God out of the church. Neither does proper accountability take faith out of religion. Point 3, the chair. We argue that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities because it will increase the confidence of the public. Dr. Atta, today, one of the greatest assets of any institution is trust. People give their money, their time, their talent, expecting all these resources to be beneficial to them and the church. Yet, Mr. Jackson, it saddens my heart to tell you that these people go home day in and day out because they do not meet their expectation. And please, let us understand that registering churches as business entities is not a faith on attack. Rather, it is a protection of trust. ORC Ghana specifically identified churches as examples of organizations that may be incorporated. The house, this is very simple. These are not merely pieces of paper. Rather, they are system. With this, the chair, I rest my case.
Reverend Joseph, when I was in my seat, I was honestly bothered. I kept asking myself, is OKS really debating the motion? Because they have spent their last 17 minutes talking about financial accountability, taxation, regulation, and monitoring churches. The house, I was wondering, OKS, is this really where the motion has taken us? Your job here today was to prove to the entire house why churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities, and you failed to do so. And that is a perfect symptom of misunderstanding the motion. But don't worry, we are here to keep you on track. With this, the chairperson, respected judges, meticulous timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. Representing Kumasi High School, I am Ronald Etuahene Champon, the supporting speaker in full opposition of the resolution before us today, which I quote and unquote, churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. The House, since my able and eloquent principal speaker has uncovered the legal soul of this motion and examined its linguistic heartbeat, I rumble on. Moving on to point 6, we debate that registering churches as business entities will lead to double taxation on the part of some churches. Madam Jackson, a church is not mainly established to make profit. It receives offerings and donations to support worship, charity, and community work. The Ghana Income Tax Act 2015 Act 896 separates religious income from business income. So, turning an entire church into a business entity could create confusion of which money is religious income and which money is business income. The House, under the Section 97 of Ghana's Income Tax Act 2015 Act 896, qualifying religious and charitable organizations can have their income exempt from tax, but that exemption does not cover their business income. Also, the Ghana Revenue Authority's guidance also lists activities like selling goods, providing services, and operating bookshops as taxable business activities. This proves that Ghana already has ways of separating religious income from business income and ways of separating church activities from business activities. So, okay, what do you mean by saying we should turn an entire church into a business entity? Moving on to point 7, we further assert that registering churches as business entities has the tendency to discourage charity and giving. Dr. Arthur, when a church is registered as a business, its financial responsibilities increase, which can make people less willing to give. This matters because church funds support not only worship, but charity, scholarships, community projects, and people in need. The House, it would interest you to know that a report by Graphic Online on 1st April 2020 found that the Methodist Church of Ghana, which is an Orthodox church, donated 200,000 Ghana cedis to the COVID-19 National Trust Fund. Also, a report by City Newsroom on 2nd April 2020 found that the ICGC, which is a charismatic church, also donated 100,000 Ghana cedis to the COVID-19 National Trust Fund. The House, that is not all. Some churches also donated foodstuffs and money to support the government in handling of COVID-19. And it is clear, after registering these churches as business entities, it will discourage their act of charity and giving in eradication of the COVID-19. The House, it is clear. Moving on to our last and final point, we debate that many small churches will collapse after they are being registered as business entities. Now, to you, okay, note that many small churches have limited resources. Therefore, enforcing them to be businesses could create pressure which can make them collapse. The House, allow me to substantiate this point with a clear evidence. A 2026 study by Institute for Liberty and Policy Innovation surveyed 600 Ghanaian businesses and found that registering a business cost an average of 1,030 Ghana cedis. Permits cost an average of 1,275 Ghana cedis. And finally, licensing cost an average of 1,600 Ghana cedis. The House, the article further revealed that these costs particularly hurt micro and startup businesses with limited capital. And it is clear, after registering these churches as business entities, when they are having fewer membership, would collapse. And the House, the funniest thing is that our opponent understands this very well and yet chose to defend abomination. The House, now to some assertions our opponents made. In the fourth point of the principal speaker and also the state point of the supporting speaker, they asserted that since some churches are engaged in commercial activities like selling anointing oils and others, they should be registered as business entities. But the House, I tell you, that is hasty generalization, because the fact that these churches are engaged in these commercial activities doesn't mean all churches in Ghana are engaged. And as a fact, the motion says that churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities, and not some churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities. Note that they also asserted that in the introduction of the principal speaker and his first point, he asserted that registering churches as business entities will enhance financial transparency. But the House, I tell you, that is a fallacy or false dilemma, because they have limited the motion to the comparison between churches being registered as business entities, or they won't be financially transparent. Churches can also and even set up committees to ensure effective oversight of finances within the church and not turning the whole church into a business entity. Again, they tendered videos talking about some religious leaders being engaged in squandering of the church money. But the House, if the problem is about religious leaders, let us deal with them. If the problem is about financial accountability, let us deal with financial accountability and not turning the whole church into a business entity. They also asserted that churches must be made to pay tax. But the House, I tell you, when these churches are being registered as business entities and pay taxes, some of the churches, it will lead to double taxation of some churches, because the Pentecost church, for example, it is having institutions like hospitals and schools, and they are paying taxes there. And it is clear, businesses pay tax. And if you are to turn churches into businesses, obviously they will pay tax. And yet our opponents want the Pentecost church to be paying tax from the church and also from the institution. They also asserted that they said that churches deal with money and therefore they should be registered as business entities. But the House, it is true instead, but turning the whole church into a business entity is not the right path. The fact that churches are handling money doesn't mean it is a business. Ladies and gentlemen, after all that have been said, I rest my case.
The chair, Agat's House, permits me to be a reverend father for this moment. In Luke chapter 2, verse 49, when Jesus said, I quote, I must be about my father's business, panel, he was not talking about commercial activities my opponents are talking about. He was talking about his father's work and purpose. Let's bring this to reality. Today's churches do more than worship. They operate businesses and ventures. Therefore, whether we call it ministry, mission, or business, once those activities involve assets, they must be held accountable. The purpose may be spiritual, but the operations are real. The House, at the summary stage, we for the motion debated on the following points. 1. Churches in Ghana should be registered as business entities to promote financial accountability and transparency. 2. Churches should be registered as business entities to protect church property and assets. 3. Churches should be registered as business entities to protect employees and workers in the church. 4. Churches should be registered as business entities because churches already engage in business activities. 5. Churches should be registered as business entities to enable them meet appropriate tax obligations. 6. Churches should be registered as business entities to protect church members and the public from irresponsible organization. 7. Churches should be registered as business entities because it will not destroy the spiritual nature of churches. And finally, we asserted that churches should be registered as business entities because it will increase public confidence. Now, in my opponent's baseless arguments, they alluded that church belongs to God, not to the government. Yes, the church belongs to God spiritually, but its buildings, bank accounts, employees, contracts, and property exist within a human legal system. Spiritual ownership does not erase legal responsibility. And once here, be guided. My opponents asserted that churches are already registered with appropriate authorities in Ghana, so the motion is not necessary. If my opponents admit that churches can be registered legally, then they have weakened their own arguments, because we are arguing for proper institutional governance, clearer financial records, better records, and greater transparency, not merely a certificate hanging on the wall. They came with confidence, but forget to bring evidence. My opponents also claim that registering churches as business will commercialize religion. Once churches are treated as business entities, pastors will focus on money instead of spirituality. This is a slippery slope fallacy. Registering a church does not change what the church stands for. A school can be registered and still focus on education. A hospital can be registered and still focus on patients. Likewise, a church can be registered and still focus on God. This argument has expired. Let us move on. My opponent stated that the Bible does not support registering of church as business entities. This is sheer stereotyping. We have never claimed that the Bible contains the word register churches as business entities, but the Bible gives us principles. For example, in 2 Corinthians chapter 8 verse 20, it emphasizes careful and transparent handling of money entrusted to God's people. Therefore, the Bible gives us the principle, while society gives us the administrative mechanism. Champions of confusion, be guided. My opponents also claim that churches build schools, hospitals, contribute to national development. So why should we register them as business entities? This is a poverty of aspects. Building a school and hospital does not place an institution above the law. This is not about who contributes to national development. It's about their activities should be transparent and accountable. Then we should stop taxing private entities because they also build schools and hospitals. So what are you saying? Or you didn't make your argument right. My opponents claim that we are putting salvation on a price tag. This is a lie. We weren't you here when we said that we are not talking about churches to be supermarkets or salvation. We are talking about legal incorporation and accountability. The chair of the House, my opponents also asserted that, asked question that if international institution has not supported a church's registration of business entities, this is a deviation number 1. We are talking about Ghana churches, and we are talking about international churches. Have you heard the saying, "Do you fear them"? The chair of the House, my opponents also said that if you are able to put the empirism of our argument, they will start packing their files. Then start packing your files, because this is exactly what we did through our presentation. My opponent told us that we only talk about financial accountability. Hey, this is a blatant lie. We talk about churches protecting, registering churches protecting church members, protecting church properties, and protecting church monies. So what are you saying? Or you didn't make your argument right? The chair, the House, my assertions are very clear. My rebuttals on point. The ball is now in your courts to judge. But remember, whom the crown fits today, let them weigh. The name remains Murphy Yao Asari, the principal speaker for Osei Kyerewie. I rest my case.
Ladies and gentlemen, my second comment here is not to deliberate, but to summarize the point raised by my subordinate speaker and I in full opposition of this motion. The chair, we contended that churches in Ghana should not be registered as business entities because 1. A church is not fundamentally a business entity. 2. Ghana's constitution protects religious freedoms. Hence, registering churches as business entities will be a contravention of this right enshrined in the constitution. 3. The existing corporate structure already accommodates churches. 4. Registering churches as business entities will amount to commercializing spirituality. 5. Registering churches as business entities defies international best practices. 6. Registering churches as business entities will lead to double taxation on the part of some churches. 7. It has the tendency to discourage charity and giving. And then 8. Many small churches will collapse. Now the chair and the house, in the main presentation of the principal speaker, he presented a video evidence of a woman telling a pastor that he is corrupt. But the chair and the house, the proposition has shown us some videos of individual incidents, but quantity does not create relevance. The chair, a video of misconduct does not prove that the legal identity of every church should be changed. Their evidence may demonstrate that some churches require stronger oversight, auditing, and enforcement. It does not demonstrate that churches should become business entities. In fact, Ghana's own revenue authority already has mechanisms for organizations to register for tax and for economic activities to be taxed. Therefore, why are my opponents saying this? Also, the chair and the house, in the very introduction of the principal speaker, she said that millions enter the offering bowl, claiming that churches receive so much money, so they should be registered as business entities. But the chair and the house, that is a fallacy of begging the question, because my opponents have assumed that the very thing they need to prove that churches should be treated as ordinary businesses, then use that assumption to justify business taxation. But the appropriate tax treatment depends on the nature of the income and the applicable law, not simply on whether an organization receives money. So, okay, you cannot use your conclusion as a premise. Also, my opponent asserted that organizations with money and property are regulated as businesses internationally. But I tell you, that is a fallacy of a sweeping generalization, because our opponents have treated different legal systems as though they all use the same identical model. In fact, in the US, the IRS has a specific framework for churches and allows religious organizations under Section 501, Clause 3C, that emphasizes on tax-exempt organizations. Also, the chair and the house, my opponent in the principal speaker summary, he said 4 points that we never said. He rebutted them. The chair, he said that churches are spiritual. We said that churches are spiritual institutions, not business. Please, we never said that. Also, he said that we said that the constitution has covered churches. But please, we did not say that. We said that the constitution already allows us to practice our freedom of any religion. Therefore, what you are saying does not stand. Also, now, my opponent said that we going to church do not exhibit moral knowledge in us. But the chair and the house, we never said that in our main presentation or even in my supporting speaker's presentation. Now the chair and the house, my opponent asked us the question, saying that if churches were registered as business entities, will church members be protected or not? But the chair, that is a loaded question. That question is simply leading us to answer either in their favor or not, or against us. Also the chair, they said that they made an analogy comparing legality and spirituality, saying that legality and spirituality are not enemies in their 7th point. But I tell you, that is a fallacy of weak analogy. You cannot compare legality and spirituality under this context today. Also, the chair, they said that it will not destroy the spiritual nature of the church when we register churches as business entities. But the chair, that is a questionable cause fallacy, because what proves that registering churches as business entities will not destroy their fundamental? Because fundamentally, churches are established to facilitate worship, proclaim the faith, disciple believers, evangelize, and serve society. So what are my opponents trying to say? Also, they asserted in their 8th point that it will increase the confidence of the public. Really? What shows that? My opponent, next time if you are asserting a point, prove it with evidence. Don't come here and be asserting what you just think. Also, they asserted that it will protect the church members. But I tell you, that is an oversimplified causal chain fallacy. Because the chair and the house, the chair, changing the registration category does not magically change human behavior. If exploitation is the problem, then regulate exploitation. If financial abuse is the problem, then threaten financial accountability. But redefining every church as a commercial entity does not logically follow. Also, the chair, during our opponent's presentation, I kept wondering in my mind that how am I going to explain the concept of fundamentality to our opponent? Because if you paid attention to their presentation, you would notice that they have spent the last 22 minutes proving that churches make money, own property, employ people, advertise, they chair the house. I rest my case.
Wow.
Are you okay now? You know what? Sometimes when we are seated and we're listening to the debaters, we don't just listen to them. We look at their gestures and all. And you know, when the principal speaker for high school came for the summaries and was speaking, I could see on Murphy's face, but what do you say? He wants to speak some more. You want to? Should I beg the judges to give you 2 more minutes? Should I beg the judges to give you 2 more minutes? It's not possible. It's not part of the rules of engagement. And you know what? I have a lot of pastor friends, reverend minister friends, and they kept sending me messages. They kept texting me, and they're excited about what they're hearing. They have been informed, they have been educated. So you know what? Please put your hands together for these young debaters. And we have 24 hours in each day. We have 24 hours in each day, and I'm sure that out of the 24 hours, the time you're spending with us this afternoon has been worth your while on radio, on television, and of course also on our social media handles. Many thanks to Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. They have been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary protocols and approved by the FDA. Now, the constant use of Kel Charcoal Toothpaste gives you fresh breath, whitens your teeth, reduces dental plaques, prevents cavities, and makes gum healthy and strong. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from 6 years on. Get a pack at your local supermarket today. Now, it is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. You can call them on 0246 864 798 or 050 145 4462. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, happy smile. Many thanks to Christian Service University, and as I speak, they are admitting students for the 2026-2027 academic year. For over 50 years, Christian Service University has been training ethical and visionary leaders who are making a difference in Ghana and beyond. Apply now for their undergraduate and postgraduate programs, including a flagship Doctor of Ministry in Christian Leadership and Management. Gain holistic education grounded in Christian values with opportunities in scholarships, entrepreneurship, and employability for a better future. You can find Christian Service University at Star Junction here in Kumasi, or you can also log on to www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU, the University of Choice. Jackson University College is also in the picture as one of our supporters. Now, they offer master's programs in English and Maths, education, guidance and counseling, as well as educational leadership and administration. Now, they also offer bachelor, post-diploma, and postgraduate programs in education. So what you need to do is to sign up for any of their short IT courses in digital marketing, software engineering, cybersecurity, web development, and data analytics, and so much more. Call Jackson University College right now on 020-126-0290 for enquiries. Shortly, we shall be bringing to you contest 4. That will be between St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School and Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Their motion will be brain drain is good for Ghana. So again, you enjoy the first competition, the third contest at the quarterfinal stage of the 2026 edition of the Love FM Kel Charcoal Toothpaste High School debate. I'm wondering whether you have dropped your message on any of our socials already. If you have not, drop them there. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Becca's more than ready to read them. Becca, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David.
Did you enjoy the contest?
Of course.
They say who the cap fits.
Let them wear it.
All right, time will tell.
All right, Patricia.
Okay, so let's still stay with education, of course, from Jackson University College. We say thank you to Best Brain Publications, and we know that every child with a bright future depends on the foundation laid for them at the basic level. So if you're a school or a parent looking for quality NACA and GES approved English, science, maths, computing textbooks, and more, then please contact Best Brain Publications today at Pankrono Kumasi. Best Brain Publications, they are securing tomorrow's academic well-being today.
We'd like to say a very big thank you to JM Ado and Sons for bringing us Oneplex 400. Worms can affect your health, therefore you need Oneplex 400 to help eliminate all kinds of worms in your body. Oneplex 400 is a sweet, easy-to-chew tablet and can be taken at any time of the day. It is suitable for children above 1 year, but breastfeeding and pregnant mothers must consult their physician before taking any dewormer. You can get 1plex 400 at any pharmacy near you, and for bulk purchases, you can contact JM Adutwum Sons.
Now, for over 40 years, Amasia Community Bank PLC has been serving you and I, of course, individuals, institutions, businesses, government, and private sector workers with safe, secure, convenient banking solutions. Of course, that leads to financial independence and growth. Now, they also operate every kind of account and give you the most affordable interest rate loans. Enjoy our digital banking services today by dialing *992#. Our newest branch is located at Manso Kenyago, just around the police station, and also find our headquarters at Antwerp Chrome. Our other branches at Manso Kwanta, Manso Edubia, Manso Datano, Bekwai, Anyang Kwanta, Akrokeri, Roman Hill, Asim, at Tenga Junction, that's at Ahoji Kumasi, Santase, and also Sofo Line. Call them today on 0247 20013, 0247 20013. Amasia Community Bank PLC, your reliable financial partner.
New Generation Investment Services (NGIS) offers managed investments and assists with pension planning, and also manages Tier 2 and Tier 3 pensions. Secure your future with our Inedaswo Mutual Fund, NGIS Money Market Fund, and private funds. Speak to any of our seasoned advisors today about your investment goals and aspirations. NGIS is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. NGIS, we say, achieving excellent returns on your investments.
Now, my dear gentlemen and lady, if you are ready to actually get married, then let me take you to St. Ben's Jewelry right now, because they are going to give you your wedding, your engagement, and promissory rings made with quality, elegant, affordable white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and also silver rings ready for you. You can also get your earrings, your bracelets, your watches, and all your accessories at St. Ben's Jewelry. We polish your old ornaments and offer special flexible payment plans for you. Locate us at Amekum right opposite Edward Nazar Building, and also in a room. We are in the Chelsea House building, of course, opposite Standard Chartered Bank. St. Ben's Jewelry, just dream it and it will be done.
Write effortlessly with Seppo Mystical Original Pen. It is engineered with perfection, and so you enjoy smooth, precise, smudge-free lines every time. Get yours today in blue, black, or red, and you can locate Seppo products at Paul Sego Lane here in Kumasi and Okaishi, Accra, or you can simply call for more information or bulk purchases on 0264 885 117, 0264 885 117. Seppo Mystical Original Pen, your #1 choice for premium writing.
Now, a big ayiko is going out to our friends at Trillium Industrial Company Limited, of course, for bringing us Verna Mineral Water. And this time around, we are introducing to everybody our 750 ml medium bottle, and you get to stay hydrated without any stress. Verna Mineral Water is nature's finest and also recommended by the Ghana Medical Association.
We also say a very big thank you to Trillium, staying with Trillium, for bringing us Bigo. Everywhere make hot but still man for enjoy. For your parties, funerals, family day outs, and any social gathering, grab your favorite Bigo drink. Bigo comes in cola, grape, orange, coconut, pineapple, apple, lemon, and cocktail flavors. It's another quality product from Trillium Industrial Company Limited. Bigo, we say big, refreshing moments.
Now, parents and teachers, you need to worry no more about your students' BEC results, because you can now prepare them with Tama questions and answers textbooks. It is packed with the current BEC past questions, answers, marking schemes, exam tips, and also strategies for all major subjects. Tama questions and answer textbooks will help boost the confidence level of your students even before they go to write the BECE. And it's actually also available at all bookshops nationwide. Call Tamak today on 053 876 9291, 053 876 9291.
Otuasekai Community Bank, we say a very big thank you to you, and for your information, they have the right accounts just for you. They have current savings, fixed deposits, Susu and infant savings accounts. Enjoy affordable salary, Susu business, funeral group loans, and more at very low interest rates. We also offer Western Union, eSwitch, iTrans, mobile money, and Ghana Pay services. You can locate Otuasekai Community Bank at Kofiase, Mampong, Ejura, Sepebokrum, Abofo, Makro, in Kinkenso, Swami Market, and Dr. Mensa. Otuasekai Community Bank, your savior in community banking.
Now it's time for you to stop watching travel videos and start living in them. Can see the sea travels. Experience the wild beauty of Kenya and the glamour of Dubai from September September 10th to 16th, 2026. And also join our China Canton Fair Business Expedition from October 26th to November 9th, 2026. We will handle your flights, your hotel reservations, your breakfast, your visa support, airport transfers, tours, and tourism tax, all stress-free. Visit the Sea Travels today at Ahojo Atenga Junction, right opposite the DHL office. And finally, from my end, let's say thank you also going out to Broadview Christian Academy. Every parent wants a child who is responsible, confident, knowledgeable, and grounded in godly values. And at the Broadview Christian Academy, we combine all of these with Christ-centered character development. Our carefully selected learning materials makes lessons engaging and also easy to understand. And with a modern ICT lab with 24/7 internet, ultra-modern library, well-ventilated classrooms, dedicated teachers, and more, we set your word for life, of course, for success. Locate Broadview Christian Academy off the Kote Road, directly opposite the KNUST Business School gate. Call them today on 024-463-8299, 024-463-8299. Broadview Christian Academy, where godly character meets academic excellence.
And from little learners in crèche to confident scholars in primary and JHS, Orion Cyrus Publications provide the books that they need to succeed. Our colorful storybooks, engaging workbooks, and curriculum-approved textbooks make learning fun and improve academic performance. With books in English, math, science, history, coding, robotics, and more, we help children learn, grow, and excel. You can find us nationwide, or for more information, please call 0504-842-957, 0504-842-957. And again, we'll say a very big thank you to Franzacos for bringing us Rizo Gari. From the heart of Ghana, Rizo Gari is made from carefully selected cassava, traditionally processed and hygienically prepared to deliver the authentic taste and quality you can trust. Rich, nourishing, and conveniently packed in easy-to-open, resealable pouches. Rizo Gari is perfect for the home, school, work, or as a quick and satisfying meal. We also have Eno Mansa Fufu, flour, cassava flour, Zimo's cereal legume mix, cassava chips, and starch. Get these products nationwide or for bulk purchases. Contact Franzacos Limited on 0244-462-152, 0244-462-152. And lastly, we say a very big thank you to Didi Shito Homemade Taste. David?
Well, thank you very much, Becca. And of course, that's Lady Becca there for you. And I'm telling you, she's more than anxious. She's more than ready to be reading your comments on our socials. Please keep your messages coming. All right, so Patricia Mabozo, can you hear me?
Okay, David, thank you so much. And we are back here at the foyer at the Christian Service University, where we are the Love FM Kelchako Toothpaste High School's debate, and we have seen contest 3 just go by. Very soon we'll be starting contest 4. We are still live on radio, Love 99.5 FM, on TV, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, and also on our social media handles with the hashtag LUVFMHSD. And yes, we do this in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, our proud sponsor, that is Kelchako Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited. Now, one very important person that we always encounter, yes, at the debate is also our honorable chairperson in the person of Mrs. Theodosia Jackson, and she's right here. We're going to have a conversation. She's actually also one person, like I said, who has been with us from day one, and she's still here with us. Mommy, you are live on TV, you are live on radio. Thank you so much.
Thank you too for inviting me.
And how are you doing, please?
By God's grace. Once I'm here, then it shows that the mercy of God has been with me.
We thank God so much. And I'm also going to find out from you, what has been your impression so far from day one, from the time we did the launch up to this particular point where we are doing the quarterfinals?
The impression, I will take it from the first contest almost 8 years ago. You could see that there had been changes. The students and their patrons have been doing exceptionally, exceedingly very well. The research that they have made is in-depth, and the presentation, everything, you could see that is fireworks. It's great work that they are doing, and I appreciate especially number one, their tutors or their patrons for guiding them, for teaching them. in the key adage, yes, he said, Hamabewu Duyankomwa, Nefi Duyano. All this that the students have done and have performed, we have applauded the students, but with me, I stand here to applaud all the teachers. Teachers do exceptionally. They have had sleepless nights to prepare these students, but in the long run, it's the students who are awarded. So I will tell Love FM that I would want to see gifts not only to the school or to the students, but also to the teachers who have prepared the students to come and give us this spectacular show on the stage. It's not easy to stand on the stage and to speak and convince other people. They have done exceedingly very well. And I could see that day in and day out, the fireworks, day in and day out, there is an improvement. So I can imagine what will happen semi-final and the final context. That one, I will employ everybody to make a listening ear, to come and listen or to hear our students on radio or on television. They have done exceedingly very well. It shows critical thinking, how they are able to assess what others have said, and how they are able to quote Bible passages and other things. In fact, all of us have to applaud the teachers and the students. That's what I would say.
Okay, so congratulations to all the teachers and of course to the students for coming this far. That's a message you are hearing from Mrs. Jackson. And of course, she is also with the Jackson University College, and they are doing amazingly well. And for someone who has not actually heard of Jackson University College before, what would you tell the person?
Jackson University College is the premium distance learning institution in Ghana. We started in 2009. Yeah, when I went on retirement, I started this. And I thank God, when there was the COVID, Ghana realized that distance learning education is the key. So now, almost all universities, everyone is doing this distance learning. We have programs, masters, we have guidance and counseling, education, maths, everything, masters. Yes. Then we have IT programs. This IT programs is in collaboration with NIIT India. We have about 150 programs that we teach people. Anyone registering with Jackson, you have an opportunity to learn technology as part of the education you have registered to do. And I thank God that many people have had the opportunity to gain employment in Ghana and outside Ghana is because of the technology. We are in the technological age. So it's something I must say is above others, what we are teaching. And even we start from primary school. Young children, we have programs for them. Those who go to secondary schools and doing robotics, they started with Jackson when they were in primary schools. So the schools that are excelling, they have a history of Jackson helping them. And that is not alone. We have many students outside the country as I speak now. Some in Germany, some in Japan, some in Canada, who are doing postgraduate diploma in education. If you are a graduate and you are listening to me, if you don't have any education, please run to Jackson before you are sacked from your job, because you need education to teach education. Therefore, I'm appealing to everybody. It's purely online. You won't pack Gary and Shito and go and sleep somewhere. You sleep in the comfort of your home, and then you do it, and it's exactly 1 year. We promised 1 year, and ever since we started, we have not gone beyond 1 year, 1 day. We graduate our students who are doing MPhil, masters, postgraduate within the stipulated time. MPhil is 2 years. It's not 2 years, 1 month. Exactly 2 years, we make sure you are graduated. And then the BEd, it has come to my notice, a number of the Pragya operators, those in the filling stations, They are all SHS, because of the free SHS. A number of them are SHS graduates. So I'm appealing to parents. We shouldn't leave them like that. I've seen the results of some of them. Very good, but they complain of finances. When you come to Jackson, by the grace of God, Student Loan Trust Fund pays tuition fee for students because we are accredited and we are affiliated to University of Education Winneba. You won't come to Jackson and regret that I won't get a certificate or this or that. You will still drive your Prajia. I have students in Techima who were selling cocoa and kose. They have graduated. I have so many chiefs and queens, and as I speak, I can talk about 100 security officers who are my students. Wow. You go to your normal work, weekend, online, you come for classes and you will get your certificate. Wow. So I'm encouraging everybody. Some people are wondering where they can continue their academic work. But Jackson has made everything flexible for everyone to come in. You will never regret when you come to Jackson. It's a place where you get a brighter future, a promise we give to our students.
I'll let you end with a number that anybody can call.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch, call 0201 260 290. It's a hotline. Immediately you call, you will be answered. 0201 260 290. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Jackson, for those beautiful words that you shared with us. And we're so live on Radio Love 99.5 FM, on Joy Learning, on TV, yes, on your multi-TV DJ box, and also on our social media handles. Let's now have our friends from Osei Adutwum and also St. Hubert Seminary join us right now as we have this conversation. Yes, it is their turn for the debate, and these two schools are going to argue on the motion. Quote, brain drain is good. Brain drain is good. Now we have St. Hubert Seminary going to argue for the motion, and Osei Adutwum Senior High School going to argue against the motion. And so, like we always do, they give us their comments even before we start everything on stage with David. So, gentlemen, please draw closer to me and let's take your words. In 30 seconds, St. Hubert, what are you presenting differently today?
Okay, I am Adum Kakari Alvin Adams, and then all they have to know is we are with God, and then with God in the vessel, we smile at the storm. Thank you.
Okay, with God in the vessel, we smile at the storm. Are you ready also for St. Hubert?
Yes, please.
So tell me something in 30 seconds.
Okay, so we have a quote that keeps us going, and it says the horses are prepared for the battle, but victory belongs to the Lord. And we know that our God is too faithful to fail us today, and we are going to exceed to the next level. Thank you. Okay, they are going to the next level. That is Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Let me go back to the patron for St. Hubert Seminary. Boss, what is also your strategy today?
Okay, so we are coming to speak to the judges and forget about the debaters we are speaking to, so that they won't understand us and they won't be able to raise rebuttals.
Your name, please.
I'm Elijah Redu.
Okay, thank you, Elijah. And I'm going to end finally with this from Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Share also with us 30 seconds the game plan for Osei Adutwum today.
Okay, I'm Abigail Kaidebi, and today ladies are going to mount that podium and give you nothing but excellence. That's all we can say now.
Okay, so the ladies are going to give us nothing but excellence. That is a promise coming from Osei Adutwum Senior High School. At the end of the day, one of them will make it out to the semi-final stage. Which school is it going to be? My name is Patricia. David is in the auditorium, and he's ready for everybody now.
Indeed, I'm more than ready for everybody now. Please put your hands together for Patricia Amabonsu, who engaged with students and patrons a while ago. In the very first contest, we were informed by some of the students that they were using bullets, others were using the nails. In the second contest, we're told about, they smiling at the storm because God is in their corner, and then victory belonging to God and all that. We'll see how the second contest will pan out. And I mean the second contest for today, but the fourth contest in the quarterfinal stage of the Love FM High Schools debate for the year 2026, brought to you by Kel Chaco. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one more spot for the semi-final place. Because as I speak, we know that Church of Christ and KNUST, you have booked their places at the semi-final stage. Just gone by was the contest between, OKES and, of course, high school. Now we have St. Hubert's Senior High School, that is St. Hubert's Seminary Senior High School, and Osei Adutwum Senior High School. They are just about to do battle. Now, for your information, this is the 8th edition. We've had 7 winners already at the Lawson High School's debate. The first year was won by T.I. Amas, followed by St. Jerome, then St. Monica's won the 3rd edition. High School, who are with us this afternoon, they won the 4th edition. Prempeh College won the 5th edition. High School came back to win the 6th edition. Prempeh College also won the 7th edition. Who will be crowned champions at this year's edition? Time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I'd like to introduce you some very important persons with us in this beautiful auditorium here at the Christian Service University. And as you're very much aware, we're doing this in collaboration with Ashanti Regional Education Service, with Ashanti Regional SRC, and of course with the Conference of Heads of our sister secondary schools. Please put your hands together for them for me. Many thanks to the Christian Service University for also hosting us all these 8 years. We're very grateful to the Christian Service University. This year's edition, our title sponsor is Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. It's from Samara Company Limited. Other sponsors include Didi Shito, Homemade Taste, Best Brain Publications, Christian Service University, Complex 400, Jackson University College, New Generation Investment Services, Amase Community Bank PLC, Sepo Mystical Pen, Big O and Vena Mineral Water from Chulium Industrial Company Limited, Otua Second Community Bank, Tamak Questions and Answers Textbooks, Orion Cyrus Publications, St. Ben Jewelry, The Sea Travels, Rizzo Gary from Franzacos Limited, and Broadview Christian Academy. Please put your hands together for our sponsors as well for me. Now, she is here with us. A while ago, she was speaking to Patricia Amabusu, and I'm talking about the chairperson for the Love FM Kel Charcoal Toothpaste High School's debate. Now, many of you know her by the name Mrs. Theodosia Wilhelmina Jackson, but let me share a few information with you about her. Now, she is an educationist, a youth and marriage counselor, a preacher, a mentor, and a philanthropist. Now, she has counseled the youth and students since 1978. She is a renowned marriage counselor. As an educationist, she has over 55 years of experience both in Ghana and abroad. Now, she is a former assistant headmistress of Kumasi High School and headmistress of KNUST JHS from 1992 to 2008. Now, she is also the co-founder and the principal of Jackson University College, which offers a 1-year postgraduate diploma in education, master's and MPhil in maths, English, guidance and counseling, educational leadership, as well as administration and B.Ed programs. Now, in partnership with NIIT India, they offer many technology programs. Her passion is to instill moral training to the youth in order to transform society. Now, she's married to Professor Ebenezer Assefuah Jackson, and by the grace of God, there are 4 adult children, Daniel, Emmanuel, Nora, and Ebenezer. Please put your hands together for the chairperson for the Love FM High School's debate, Mrs. Theodosia Wilhelmina Jackson. Judges on duty today, they include Reverend Justice Bofa Pokumensa. He's a lecturer here at the Christian Service University. He is with the Department of Communication Studies. Please show him some love. A round of applause for one of our judges, Reverend Justice Bofa Pokumensa. Another judge with us is Reverend Joseph Janvible. Now, he is with the Theology Department at the Christian Service University. He's also been teaching here for several years. Please put your hands together for Reverend Joseph Janvible. Not forgetting the lead judge, Dr. Peter Arthur, the empiricism man. Now, he is a senior lecturer and former head of Department of English at KNUST. He's a former head of Department of Language and Communication Sciences, also at KNUST, and he's a textual analyst. Please put your hands together for Pierrot. And he's our lead judge. Now, for those of you who are watching us for the very first time, you're wondering what it is happening. It's all about the Love FM High School's debate, brought to you by Kel Charcoal for this year, 2026. Now, having mentioned the Love FM High School's debate, there are rules of engagement and there are rules of how the judges score. It is my singular honor and pleasure to welcome to the microphone Dr. Peter Arthur to run us through the rules of engagement and as judges how they score. Please put your hands together for Dr. Peter Arthur.
Thank you, Dave. Madam Chair, as usual, with your permission, I break down the rules for them. My dear students, we have 5 parameters for judging, and for that we have organization and clarity, argument and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, and role as a particular debater. Organization and clarity is simple. Raise well-researched points, And then make sure that you have distributed them properly. Get your introduction, get your development, come to a conclusion. The first speaker is having 15 marks for that. The second speaker is having 10 marks, and then the summary is going for 5. Arguments and development. I think we've spoken a lot about this causal chain, about this procedural chain and all that. But something is happening. A lot of you are simply throwing around terminologies. I can tell you that a lot of the terminologies, logical terminologies that we heard today were not correct. So be very careful the way you handle them. Go and study them properly, actually. So the first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And then for the summary, we're having 5 marks. Effective use of rebuttal. You know what we are talking about. Just find the weakness in the other person's argument and then hit back at him or her. Please, what I've seen is that sometimes you spend too much time on rebuttal. For rebuttal, you are not developing another point. Just pick it and then hit it back and then move on, because we are counting. And then the first speaker is taking 5 marks for that, and then the second speaker is taking 10. And for the summary, there's nothing here. I keep on explaining. When you come, even if nobody has spoken, at least imagine that there would have been some problems and then attend to them. So you have 5 marks here, and then you go to the second speaker, 10. He normally or she normally does the rebuttals. So we'll keep on counting. Now, the final, that is for the summary, the speaker comes, and if he does rebuttals, for every rebuttal, we count. We count until it reaches 15, because 15 marks for this section. So once it gets to 15, that's the ceiling. We don't go again. But keep on rebutting. Keep on rebutting. You understand that? Good. It makes a lot of difference at this particular stage. Presentation style, you know, don't rush us. Use good language, use body language. And then your role as a particular debater, if you're the first debater, let's see that you are really the first debater. Straightforward, powerful, cogent, that sort of thing. And then the second debater is only supporting you. But mind you, it takes the 2 to win. Let's get to the rules. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion. 10 minutes for that. And you know why I'm emphasizing. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution. 10 minutes for that. And then the second speaker on the affirmative team presents further argument in support of the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker. 7 minutes for that. Then the second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. 7 minutes for that. Then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statement to their arguments, this time without adding any new information, and also use the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. This time, 5 minutes. And then the principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statements to their arguments, again, without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals if necessary. 5 minutes. Note that as a speaker, you must sound audible enough, and that means that you should have to know how to handle the microphone. And you can only interrupt a speaker if the speaker is speaking. Allow him to talk. Wait till it gets to your turn. Now, the principal speaker is raising 5 points, and then the supporting speaker is raising 3 points. Of course, let me explain here. You introduce the points, and if it is cogent, 1, explanation, cogent, 2, and then you have good support, 3. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the 3. No, they must be related to what you are saying. Now, You go to other rules. He who asserts, I like that. And in order to establish an assertion, the team must support it with enough facts and evidence. Facts and evidence must be accurate, and examples of visual materials are permissible. And once introduced, they become available for the use of the opponent as well. And then in rebuttals, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the point raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to the questions and not to make statements, comments, or ask rhetorical questions. Now, supporters from both sides are supposed to exercise discipline. You are not supposed to induce, frustrate, or intimidate your opponent. Failure would amount to deduction of marks. And then, when it comes to time, you are speaking, and then the bell goes. Once it goes, you stop. Sudden stop. If you disobey the bell, marks will be deducted. Now, in the event of a tie, the two schools involved will begin giving a motion to debate within 24 hours. Let's take note of this. Very important. The score of one judge cannot overturn the score of two judges. Take note of that. So, one judge can score as hugely as possible, but we take the score of the two judges. Because of that, we are dealing with majority decision. And then there's also the possibility of having unanimous decision. As for that one, it's clear. All the three judges scoring in favor of a particular school. Now, in case you have any problem, you see the fine gentleman on my left, just approach him and he will do you good. Okay? Let's talk about reporting time. It is still 12:30, and if you flout this regulation, you'll be disqualified. Now, Mr. MC, I think my job is done.
You always want me to add that for now, so you take your seat. But through experience and this very debate and engagement that has gone on, we've come to realize that there's a third means by which a school can win. It's not just about the unanimous decision or the majority decision. There's also one that has come up shortly in terms of highest score. Highest score. So like he says, or like with three judges, what we have witnessed in a couple of days back is that each school wins on each judge's score. Then on one judge's score, the mark is high. So it's not unanimous. It is not a majority, but it's a highest score. That is also possible because we've had that as well. Venator. Where's the Vin? Venator. Venator. One more time. Venator. Students of St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School, please stand. They also go by the name Sahus. They are in green. And they are standing, all boys, and they'll be singing for us the school anthem. They know the deal, they know the drill. Are you ready? Oh, Venato, what are you doing? Are you ready? Yes. They say they are ready. So Francis was just trying to see if his PC and the speakers are aligned and are going to work. Please put your hands together for Francis Rui. Yeah, he's one of our IT guys here present. So Francis, on three, you help them start to sing the school anthem. 1, 2, 3. is your school anthem. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Oh, you can do better with the applause. And you know what? Let's welcome your debaters. Osei Kyerewie Felix is the principal speaker, supported by Osei Hubert. Those are the students who are wearing the uniform of Sahus or St. Hubert's Seminary Senior High School to debate on the motion brain drain is good for Ghana. St. Hubert's Seminary Senior High School, they are for the motion. The school that is against the motion is Osei Adutwum Senior High School. OSAS. OSAS. One more time. OSAS. Somebody is still saying it before. Please stand for me. You heard your colleagues from St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School sing the school anthem a while ago. You're standing because you also have to sing your school anthem. So, Francis, I'm sure that they are ready. Are you ready? If you are, on 3. 1, 2, go. Saying they shall overcome. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Oh, put your hands together for your own selves. You sang well. And let's welcome your debaters as well. Joycelyn Ajubi Owusu and Francisca Sewa Opoku. There they are. Alright, so there's only one slot left for the semifinals position for this year's edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. We're yet to find out which of the schools, that is between St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School and Osei Adutwum Senior High School, which of these two schools will grab that slot. Now, the motion, like I said, is brain drain, is good for Ghana. Sahus, they are for the motion. OSAS are against the motion. Accurate timekeeper is here. You know the drill already. Are you ready, accurate timekeeper? He says he is. Madam Chairperson, with your blessing, can we go ahead? She says yes. Panel of judges, are we good to go? Audience, are you ready? If you're ready and you're really ready, put your hands together and make some noise as we welcome Osei Kyerewie Felix, principal speaker for OSAS, to start the debate. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I start this debate, let me share with you one fun fact. You see, the number of women who will actually go to hell is far more than the number of people or the number of men who will actually be there. Now, on surface, people will actually think I'm trying to say women commit more crime than women, but that is actually not the case. This is because stats tells us that there are a lot of women as compared to men. Similarly, in this motion, on the surface, people actually see brain drain as bad for Ghana. But then, if you look into it deeper, you tend to see that there are so many benefits that are not even known to man. Greetings to you, the Vice Chair, bold and impartial panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. Representing St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School, I am
Ejakon Kakari Felix, the proud principal speaker, speaking undeniably in full affirmation of the motion on board today, and I quote, "Brain drain is good for Ghana," unquote. The chair, the house. Before I proceed to lay down my salient points, permit me to elaborate on some key terminologies in this motion for the better understanding of my opponents and the August House at large. These key terms are brain drain and good. Ladies and gentlemen, brain drain is simply defined as the outflow of highly educated personnel from a country with the intention of going to work there or seek better living conditions. Good is also simply defined as something that is favorable, impartial panel of judges. The motion simply conveys one single message, and that is brain drain, or people actually leaving the borders of our country, has a lot of benefits that we know. We are not saying it is excellent, and we say that the motion on board today is true due to the following points that I'm about to set in place. My opponents, I urge you to feel free and enjoy the show. The chair, point 1, we argue that brain drain reduces the pressure on Ghana's job market. Impartial panel of judges, let us acknowledge the difficult truth here in Ghana. Every single year, thousands of university graduates complete their course of study without finding suitable jobs to match their qualifications. Impartial panel of judges. Now, you see a young boy completing the University of Ghana with a medical degree, but we found on our streets selling sobolo. Impartial panel of judges. How ironic. The chair, the house. Now, according to the World Bank, it tells us that Ghana's youth faces serious rates of unemployment and underemployment, with 12% of our youth going through unemployment and 50 of them going through underemployment. Impartial panel of judges. We are saying that if some of these people actually leave the borders of our country, it will be good for Ghana due to the fact that it will reduce the pressure on Ghana's job market. The chair, the house. Now, listen to this. Fewer people competing for fewer jobs simply means that there's a high opportunity for them to actually gain employment. Now, employers here will be forced to give them some form of attractive salaries, if you know what I mean, in order for them to actually keep and maintain these workers in their system. The chair, the house. According to analysis by the World Bank, it tells us that migration helps reduce the rate of unemployment in a country. Yes, by reducing the pressure of that of the job market. Ladies and gentlemen, my opponents here may simply argue that we are simply giving up our talent. But now, let us pay attention to the immediate effect. Fewer people competing for scarce jobs simply equals lower rates of unemployment, because as we all know here, Ghana's job market is flooded, and that is why we simply opine in favor of the motion. The chair, point 2, we continue to argue that brain drain is good for Ghana because it brings benefits in terms of money and knowledge transfer. Impartial panel of judges. Now, my opponent here may simply say that brain drain simply means we sending out our best minds. But now, ask yourself this question: does a person really traveling outside of Ghana's border simply mean that he won't contribute back to the nation again? Of course not. Impartial panel of judges. People contribute to Ghana through remittances. That is the money that they actually send back home, ladies and gentlemen. According to the World Bank, Ghana's remittances contributes 7% of Ghana's GDP, which is equivalent to $7.8 billion. Impartial panel of judges. Now, that money alone can be used to build hospitals, start up schools, start up businesses, and a whole lot, contributing positively to Ghana's economy. Aside from the sector of money, we can also talk about the fact that people in their diaspora actually learn new skills and technology and teach we the ones who stay in Ghana through online courses or opting to come back here for these kinds of things. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the World Bank Development Research, it tells us one single thing, and that is migration actually helps countries benefit in terms of money and on the side of brain or knowledge transfer. This is why we affirm the motion on board today. The chair, point 3, we continue to argue in full affirmation of the motion due to the fact that it actually encourages young learners like myself to take their academics seriously. Impartial panel of judges. Brain drain is actually good for the country due to the fact that it motivates young learners like we all here to actually take our academic work seriously. Now, there is prestige in actually traveling outside of the country. Impartial panel of judges. When young learners like myself see doctors, nurses, and teachers traveling outside of the country to go and make money from themselves, they are actually motivated. The idea of them even traveling outside of the country alone, it even reforms their minds. And this is how they tend to sound like, wow, Madam Jackson, impartial panel of judges. At that instant, they tend to see that education opens doors beyond their immediate environment. Impartial panel of judges. I won't even take you far. Right here in this year's Love FM High School debate, everybody is participating for the ultimate glory and the awards. One of these this award is a 2-week trip outside the borders of Ghana, and see how young learners, including my opponent here, are actually taking this thing as a World Cup tournament. Yes, so just imagine, 2 weeks keke. What about the people who see their moms traveling outside the country to go and work? What do you think it will actually do for them? They are going to take this academic exercise serious, and it is all participating into education, isn't it? That is why we opine in full affirmation of the motion. That point 4, we continue to argue that it actually encourages Ghana to set up impartial panel of judges. We say that the motion on board today is true due to the fact that it points out the cracks in Ghana's system and forces them to make amends and make better institutions. Impartial panel of judges. Now, a problem is actually the reason why we go out to actually find solutions. When nurses actually leave the country and doctors also start to leave, it tells Ghana that there is a problem in their healthcare sector, and they make all forms of measures to actually fix it. Impartial panel of judges. Now, according to the report by Ghana's own Ministry of Health, it told us that over 812 doctors alongside 2,392 nurses all decided to leave the country to go and work elsewhere. Now, this told Ghana that its healthcare system is actually failing. And what did they do? They put in retaining measures. One of these retaining measures was introducing the additional hour allowance in partial panel of judges. That was to motivate these people to actually stay here and continue to work right here in Ghana. Another big step that they actually took was establishing the Ghana College of Education. Now, this was established in 2003. It tells us that one major reason for its formation was for the attrition of medical practitioners and to stem brain drain in partial panel of judges. Sometimes the problem here doesn't necessarily destroy the system. The problem exposes the crack and forces the government to actually fix them. That is why we say that brain drain is good in its own way in partial panel of judges. Point 5, we argue that brain drain contributes positively to Ghana's healthcare sector in partial panel of judges. Contrary to what my opponents may simply say today, that brain drain is killing our healthcare, we simply cannot agree with them, because we say that brain drain is contributing positively to the Ghanaian healthcare sector. Impartial panel of judges. Imagine a young man traveling outside of Ghana, spending 10 years in Germany, learning cardiothoracic surgery, and coming back here to Ghana to become the first cardiothoracic surgeon. I am talking about Professor Dr. Frimpong. Yes, Professor Dr. Frimpong Boateng, the first ever man to actually perform a successful man to actually perform a heart surgery right here in Ghana. That is, he was the first person to do it in Ghana and West Africa at large. Impartial panel of judges. This man has established so many centers relating to this aspect in healthcare at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and built so many other healthcare institutions to actually help save millions of lives. Aside from that sector, we can also talk about the fact that remittances can be invested into healthcare, as I stated earlier, and that is why we say that healthcare, in terms of healthcare, contrary to what my opponents will say, that is, it is contributing bad to it. It is actually not the case, because it contributes positively to our healthcare. Now, my opponents may say that we are simply losing talent by sending out nurses. If 300 nurses leave, it will affect our healthcare, but we simply cannot agree with them. Simply with the fact that if 300 nurses are to leave Ghana today, 300 plus nurses will actually have room for employment. And as I stated earlier, Ghana's system is actually overflooded, so that doesn't necessarily affect us in any good way. Impartial panel of judges. They may even argue that we are even destroying our talent or putting it to waste. Putting our talent to waste is when we decide to let them stay here in Ghana without actually giving them opportunities to even work with. That is why we say we are wasting their talent. But if we send them outside of the country, we are putting their talent to use and even getting benefits from it through money and skill transfer. Impartial panel of judges. I would like to end here, but before I like to send a word of caution to my opponents that my second coming is around the corner. I will return to fully rebut all the fallacious assertions and end this chapter once and for all. The chair, the house. I bow.
What is the value of a nation with rich resources but without the mind transforming them? What is the future of a country whose brightest problem solvers are solving problems elsewhere? The greatest resource Ghana possesses is not gold, cocoa, or oil. It is the Ghanaian mind, the ability to create, transform, and innovate. However, brain drain has turned this priceless resource into an export commodity where foreign nations receive the benefits while Ghana bears the cost. The chair panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, could debaters, fellow students, and all protocols duly acknowledged. Good day. Coming from the land of intellectuals, Osei Adutwum Senior High School, I am Joycelyn Ejubi Owusu, the principal speaker, confidently opposing the motion before the House. Quote and unquote, brain drain is good for Ghana. The chair, with your permission, kindly let us explain the key words in the motion. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, brain drain refers to the departure of educated or professional people from one country, economic sector, or field, usually for better pay or condition of service. Now, what does good for Ghana mean? Good for Ghana, as used in this context, simply means that the overall effect of large-scale departure of skilled professionals from Ghana brings this country net benefit, which improves our economy and society. Now, proceeding on with our arguments, we allude that brain drain weakens Ghana's capacity for sustainable development by depriving the nation of its valuable resource, human capital. Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of every developing nation is not built by bricks and machines alone. It is built by the mind that designed the machine, experts who create solutions, and professionals who turn ideas into progress. When we lose these skilled professionals through brain drain, we are losing the intellectual engine that is required for national development. Madam Chairperson, in all humbleness, kindly permit me to ask our before these two questions. One, what is the value of a nation which has gold beneath its soil, but without the minds capable of turning them into prosperity? Two, what is the value of building universities if the graduates we produce will become the workforce of other economies? This is the painful reality of brain drain. Ghana spends years and resources training these professionals, but through brain drain, foreign economies and countries enter and reap the benefits of Ghana's health. Reap the benefits of Ghana's investment. Now, let us talk about the health sector. The statistics speaks louder than speculation. A report stated that approximately 50% of doctors and 24% of nurses who were born and trained in Ghana have migrated abroad. That is not all. In 2023, the Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association identified and reported that thousands of nurses have sought clearance to leave the shores of the country, with over 4,000 of these said nurses living within the first 7 months of that year alone. Now, let us turn our attention to another critical dimension. Second, we contend that brain drain transfers Ghana's investment, expertise, and future potential to foreign economies. The chair, the House. Brain drain is not just the movement of people, no. Brain drain is the movement of national investment, intellectual power, and economic potential. Behind every doctor, scientist, engineer, nurse, and technological expert are years of public resources, educational infrastructure, and national sacrifice. When these professionals permanently leave Ghana, the country loses greatest of its opportunities, while the foreign economies, which did not contribute anything, receive already made expertise. According to reports, OECD International Migration Outlook updated the country that Ghana remains the leading source of immigrant nurses, with over 21,400 of these said nurses working in OECD countries in the year 2020 and 2021. The chair, the House. Consider the investments made in these nurses, yet these skills are strengthening healthcare system across countries like the USA, Canada, and other countries instead of Ghana. Now, Ghana loses $1 billion through brain drain. Someone will ask me, Ajubi, where does this loss come from? The reason for this loss is simple. Ghana spends years training these professionals, but when it comes to benefits, we do not receive productivity and tax returns. Now, proceeding on with our third point, the chair, we argue that brain drain deepens critical sector challenges and undermines the efficiency of delivering essential services. A nation cannot deliver quality services to its citizens if the professionals responsible for delivering these services are constantly walking away. The greatest danger of brain drain is not that Ghana loses individuals, no. It is that Ghana loses the capacity to keep hospitals functioning, schools effective, industries productive, and public institutions efficient. The chair, if you move ahead now, moving on to our fourth point, the chair, we assert that we assert that brain drain limits innovation, technological advancements, and Ghana's ability to compete globally. The chair, the house. In this modern 21st century, the greatest competition among nations is no longer who possesses the greatest natural resource. No, it is about who has the smartest mind in creating the next technology, the next invention, and the next academic breakthrough. Innovation is built on human networks. A scientist cannot develop alone. Neither can a software develop great technological ecosystem without collaboration. A study published in the Journal of Urban Networks examining the relationship between skilled migration and innovation found that while diaspora network can bring knowledge flows into the country, the cost of losing these innovators in developing countries can cause more harm than good. Now, imagine a country where, imagine a Ghana where we retain most of our best minds, local engineers building local technologies, software developers building African countries, and above all, entrepreneurs creating jobs and companies in this country. Progress is all that we will be seeing. Now, moving on to our fifth point, we argue that brain creates dependency and prevents Ghana from building lasting solutions for long-term development. The true test of a nation's independence is not whether that country have a problem. No, every nation does. The true test is whether they have the internal capacity to solve this problem. This is where brain drain gets dangerous because it removes the very capacity, the very professionals who are responsible for creating these solutions. Ghana is blessed with so much energy resources, but resources alone do not create energy security. No, expertise does. The Energy Commission of Ghana has identified inadequate local training capacity as the problem facing renewable energy system. Now, the house. This is where dependency comes in. If we lose our engineers, experts, and researchers through brain drain, the country have no choice than to go outside and bring in foreign consultants who manage and drive our system. The house. Now, kindly permit me to clear the air on some erroneous assertions made by our opponents. Our opponents mounted this podium and pointed that Ghana receives remittances. But we do not deny that Ghana receives remittances. In fact, we are privy to the information that in the year 2019, Ghana received over $4 billion as remittances, and also it contributes to Ghana's GDP 6%, not 7%. They have increased the number. What we will not accept on this day today, it is that money is a substitute for human beings. When a doctor living abroad sends home 500 euros every month, that money cannot stand beside the patient's bed. It cannot diagnose an illness, neither can it perform an operation. Hence, human beings is what we need. The money may return to Ghana, but the expertise does not. They went ahead. Now the chair, kindly permit me to do this. Madam Chairperson, with permission, I stand to rise on a matter of definition. Abofo seems to have substituted brain gain for brain drain. Now, these two concepts are not synonymous. Brain drain is associated with the fact that when a country loses its high-skilled professionals, whereas brain gain is when these professionals traveled out and comes into the country with more technology and expertise. Hence, we are debating whether brain drain is good for Ghana, not whether immigrants benefits Ghana. If they want to defend brain gain, let them do so, but they cannot win a debate by answering a different motion. But there's the chair, the house, I bow.
Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Right after this contest, Miss Madam Jackson for counseling. Cause you deserve better. Impartial panel of judges. Madam Jackson, beautifully seated here, abundant in knowledge, wisdom, and experience. Spends her life abroad with her husband abroad. The chair to acquire knowledge, only to come, build, organize, and coordinate such a great platform. They share the house just to trumpet the voice of young ones with issues of national interest. But here we have these self-acclaimed preachers of the Good News Bible contradicting the whole story. You should be scared. Excuse you. The standing chairperson, bold, impartial panel of judges representing St. Hubert this afternoon. I am Osei Kyerewie, the supporting speaker for the set motion before the guest house today. And I quote, brain drain is good for Ghana, unquote. The chair, per my role as supporting speaker, I simply proceed by adding organized fast. And my brain drain, although it's not excellent, but good for Ghana. Doc, taking all these into concept. Point 6, we debate that brain drain encourages international standards. Impartial panel of judges, we often say travel and see, but in our local parlance, we say one go be farmer, also unkunu krieni. So if you have not been to others' farm, you claim that you are the only farmer. Impartial panel of judges, her argument today is simple. Her argument is there is a very high standard way of doing things elsewhere. That is why brain drain exposes Ghana to high standard of professionalism, education, technology, research. Impartial panel of judges. Saint Hubert, as usual, for clear arguments and development, the founder of my opponent's school, Dr. Osei Adutwum, left Ghana and left his KNUST degree, the share in land economy, to US. But historians tell us that he's one of the most outstanding education ministers so far. Panel of judges, to avoid hasty conclusion and for clear arguments and development, let's all watch this video.
How you did it? So I explained to him how I was able to build it. What is called the charter schools, which are schools privately run but publicly funded. So I explained the whole concept to him, and then he asked me a simple question: would you consider coming back to Ghana to help me change the education system? And I said I'll consider.
The chair, the house. We are not changing the motion. This is called brain gain, not brain drain. If it's innovation, big thinking, vision, and his achievement was derived from abroad, then, madam, I must tell you, this cannot be attributed to your so-called brain drain. For me, we call it brain gain. Get serious with me for once. So, our 7-point the chair, we debate that brain drain increases global visibility. The standing chairperson, I guess, house. Ghanaians do not leave their identity at the airport. No, they go along with their talent and culture in the global room. Impartial panel of judges, let's all imagine this great feeling when you see or hear a Ghanaian making a great impact on the global stage, just like Dr. Kofi Annan when he was elected as the UN General Secretary. Now let's all buckle up our seatbelts and listen to this. The US government realized the underperformance of schools, most especially in the urban centers. The chair, it calls for a proposal. A Ghanaian puts in his proposal and it was accepted. The chair, he was given a non-refundable amount of $500,000 for his education network. One may ask, who is this Ghanaian we are talking about? We are talking about Dr. Osei Adutwum, the founder of my opponent's school. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think my opponents informed their founder before mounting this podium. He would have probably told you to rest in your dormitory and recite your multiplication times table instead of you to mount this podium, shorten shums and shams to the house. The chair, the house. There are other personalities like Dr. Kofi Annan. There are other personalities like Dr. Kofi Annan, Francis Aloti, Dr. Thomas Mensah, all these personalities have put Ghana on the global map. So, my dear, why then did you be an obstacle in the way? Don't be enemies of progress. So, our last and favorite point, the chair, we debate that brain drain reduces brain wastage. Impartial panel of judges, please let's all analyze this. A young Ghanaian biomedical student who just graduated from KNUST, panel, with a certificate, with his ambition, with his vision, yet no job, no little research funding, no lab, unconcerned agenda girls. I'm asking, should this person stay in the house and rest? You might want to come back next time. Panel of judges, the World Health Organization shows that 943 trained health workers were unemployed in 2024, including my very own sister. The chair, abroad we have labs, we have funding. This will help them develop and come back with that knowledge and connection. This is called brain bank, not brain drain. Ladies and gentlemen, our argument is simple. That is why the minor health AI have partnered with the Imperial College at London and have received €150,000 on medical research, such as malaria and pandemic. Then my opponent drove all the way from the Jachi Busumche to see Kumasi small and now telling us that brain drain is not good for Ghana. Hey, how on earth, my dear? Belated happy birthday. I have a very big surprise for you. Here's what about house. Ladies and gentlemen, my opponents alluded that our skilled workers are leaving and the incoming ones are inexperienced. The chair, let's clap for this analogy. Because for me, I never knew Rome was built in one day. Rome wasn't built in one day, neither is experience. Those professional workers that my opponent is claiming they are leaving, they did not summon the experience from the sky. They built it, they learned it. Now, if our noble judges are supposed to share with you what they went through, what they passed through, do and what they taught them before they became the experienced lecturers they are beautifully seated here today, my dear, you'll be wowed. My opponents alluded that brain drain worsens Ghana's healthcare system. Hey, I thought you knew better. I never knew if I give you brush, you paint every situation black. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a genuine cause, so do not try to deny it. The problem is not migration itself. The problem is Ghana's inability to return effectively to utilize its human capital. My opponents again said that Ghana pays to educate them, but other countries enjoys the benefits. The chair, this is a hasty conclusion. Panel of judges, education is not an investment. That benefits Ghana only when a graduate physically remains in Ghana. The graduates abroad can return its value through remittances, investments, professional networks, and knowledge transfer. The World Bank identifies that these are important potential gains from high-skilled migration. My opponents again alluded that brain drain represents a waste of Ghana's human capital. Oh, you are impartial panel of judges. My opponent is turning up the concepts. It's not a necessarily human capital loss. It can become a human capital expansion. Panel of judges, human capital can operate internationally while remaining connected to Ghana. A Ghanaian scientist abroad can access laboratories, research facilities that may be unavailable in Ghana and subsequently collaborate with Ghanaian University. Impartial panel of judges. My opponents again alluded that talk about health sector. The chair, the house. That arguments assume that every skilled Ghanaian who lives would otherwise have a productive job in Ghana. Thank you.
The house. Imagine Ghana, where a patient enters a hospital only to be told that the specialist who could save a life has left the country. A classroom filled with brilliant and potential students like my principal speaker and I, as well as my opponent themselves, but the experienced teacher who trained them has left the country. The house, it is rather unfortunate that a nation that spends years training its doctors, nurses, scientists and other professionals only to watch them board a plane, use their skills to develop another country. The house. The proponents want us to believe that when Ghana loses its finest mind, Ghana wins. But I ask them, my opponents, how can a nation celebrate losing the very people it invested heavily to educate and train? My opponents, I leave that to you. The chair. Brain drain does not merely take people out of Ghana. It takes away knowledge, innovation, and human capital upon which national development depends. Greetings to you, the chair, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, teachers, co-debaters, fellow students, and all protocols duly observed. Representing Osei Adutwum Senior High School, I am Francisca Sewa Opoku, as the supporting speaker, vehemently opposing the motion. Quote and unquote, brain drain is good for Ghana. Now the chair permits me to clear the air on some assertions made by my opponent. The chair, in my opponent's presentation, they said that brain drain reduces pressure on Ghana's job creation. My opponent, brain drain does not reduce pressure on Ghana's job creation. We do not have unemployment. We have shortage, and even the district hospitals are crying for doctors. They are crying for nurses. They are already 50% of our nurses and our doctors are already gone. So how can this claim be approved that brain drain is good? They also asserted that diaspora professional partner with local Ghanaian institutes. The chair, part-time consultancy and occupational Zoom lecture from the diaspora professional cannot replace full-time ground dedication. A visiting professor giving a 2-week lecture series does not build a department. Structuring national problem requires full-time residents expertise and not long-term and not long-distance guest appearance. Now the chair. Moving on to our point, we assert that remittances do not fully compensate for human capital loss. The chair, in my opponent's presentation, they pointed out remittances. That's money migrants sent back home as proof that remittances help the country. The house, this is misleading. We admit that migration brought in $4 billion in 2019, around 6% of Ghana's GDP. The house, this sounds a lot, but this money is for only personal and family use and not replacements for having these workers actually present in our hospitals, schools, and other vital sectors. Remittances are useful, but the motion is not asking whether remittances is useful. The motion is asking whether brain drain is good for Ghana. a Ghanaian in abroad send money to his or her family, but that money benefits only the recipient's household. But when the person remains in Ghana as a lecturer, professional, or any other profession, that person benefits thousands of people. A doctor can use a career to treat thousands of patients. Chair. According to strong evidence to back our claim is, according to the development report 2023 by the World Bank Group, which reported that brain drain is an impediment to development when the cost of losing a highly qualified job outweighs the benefits of remittances and knowledge with over. Now the House, let's watch this video.
Provide the skills that are a strong match in the destination labor market and the community. Remittances is one of them, right? I left home, I came here, and when my parents need money, I send them back. But the real impact is not necessarily this money. It's about human capital. It's about social capital.
Now the chair, this sum up all what I just said earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana needs both money and mind. While when forced to choose, a nation must never celebrate the departure of the minds that can create the world. Remittances are just a compensation for what we've lost and not a proof that brain drain is good. Moving on to our 7th point, the chair, we assert that Ghana must improve the conditions under which a brain drain works. The chair, remittances matters. Salary is important, but our solution is not only to increase salaries, but also to improve the entire professional environment, giving the teacher opportunity for professional development and giving the engineer tools required to innovate. Our argument is not proposing that government has done nothing. Indeed, the government of Ghana has improved several measures through the single spine pay policy and the government has sought to create fair and more transparent public sector remuneration. Again, in 2024, the Fair Wages and Salary Commission reported agreements with 44 unions and institutions, including the Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Our proposal is to suggest that government must do more, government must do better, and do it faster. The chair, moving on to our 8th point, we argue and propose the Return and Serve Ghana policy. Now the House, pay attention as I take you through this policy. The proposal, Return and Serve Ghana policy, could encourage skilled Ghanaians living in abroad to return permanently to Ghana to serve the country. According to Minister of the Interior on the National Migration Policy for the Ghana, dated April 2016. Ghana's national migration policy already contains measures aimed to encouraging the return of skilled Ghanaian immigrants. This call for fast-tracking the re-engagement and re-registration of turning professional providing packages to skilled workers to reduce immigration, promoting retention of health professionals, encouraging the return of Ghana health professionals. Panel, our proposal is not to add something foreign to Ghana's policy frame, but also to propose that Ghana should strengthen and aggressively implement the measures already recognized in their policy. The House, return permanently and establish a specialist clinic on research center in Ghana and train medical students and young doctors with appropriate resources put in place. The ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the chair, the House, to call brain drain good is to accept defeat, is to say that Ghana is a merely luxury for the developed country to take our best and final young brain away, existing only to train talent and foreign national to exploit. The chair, the House, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my second mountain of this podium is to put up the pieces of threads of argument raised by my supporting speaker and I in full affirmation of the motion today. The chair, point 1, we argue that brain drain reduces the pressure on Ghana's job market. The chair, point 2, we argue that brain drain helps Ghana benefit in terms of money and skill transfer. The chair, point 3, we argue that it encourages education. Point 4, we said it encourages Ghana to sit up. Point 5, we argue that it positively affects or impacts our healthcare sector. Point 6, we said that brain drain encourages international standards. Point 7, we argue that it increases global visibility. And finally, point 8, we argue that it reduces brain wastage. Impartial panel of judges. My opponents here seem to call themselves intellectuals, but it seems that they completely left their logic to their logic back at school because of the KG2 arguments that they raised today. But now, permit me to pinpoint the trash in the argument. Impartial panel of judges. The principal speaker said that brain drain weakens Ghana's development by taking our human capital. But now, as I stated earlier, Ghana's job market is overflooded. That means we have so many people who actually go for employment who are unemployed. So tell me, if people are actually leaving the country, it means we still have a lot of people to actually fill up their spaces. Now, they argued about it transfers Ghana's investment. Before I proceed to rebut this point, let me show you a video.
Businesses. So it's the question is not whether profits leave the country. The question is, does the country gain before they do? And facts that we have exhibited today have proven that indeed Ghana does. So the question shouldn't be whether profits leave Ghana. The problem should be, or the question today should be, whether Ghana, you and I, gain value before they do. And we have.
Are you shocked? Of course you are. These are your own words telling that as it should not necessarily be about the profits leaving Ghana. It should be rather if the profit actually comes back. And evidence tendered in today that remittances contribute 7% of Ghana's GDP. That is equivalent to $7 billion. Now, isn't that actually giving back to Ghana? And as you said, so means you rebutted yourself. There's the impartial panel of judges. Now, my opponents claim that if we send these people abroad, we are investing a lot of money in them. They made the amount like $1 billion. We are investing money in them. Now let me tell you something. Investment simply means you should get something back. That is more than the price you invested. We invest $1 billion in them and then we get $7.8 billion. Isn't that better? Impartial panel of judges. Now they are confusing. Now they said we are confusing brain drain with brain gain. Impartial panel of judges. Let me make this simple clarity. Brain drain actually has byproducts. We have brain gain and we also have brain circulation. Brain circulation is when people travel outside of the borders of Ghana to actually go and learn, just like Mrs. Jackson, impartial panel of judges. Now, brain gain is actually what we get there. So, if brain drain is the mother of all of these products, that argument that they made simply doesn't hold water. Impartial panel of judges. They said that it doesn't. The supporting speaker on the opposing team said that it doesn't reduce the pressure on our job market, but we simply say that that is a lie. Now, and if we have so many nurses who are actually, if we have so many nurses, as you said, we have so many nurses who have traveled outside the borders of Ghana. But now, tell me, you say we do not have nurses to actually work in hospitals, but we also have so many nurses who are not actually posted, including my supporting speaker's very own sister. Now, tell me, what are you trying to tell us, impartial panel of judges? I would like to simply end here, but let me end with this simple thing. Now, brain drain can be said to be bad if we didn't actually have benefits to it. But now, even if there is 1% benefit to brain drain, we can still call it good. And per the evidences that we presented today, with strong arguments, we simply prove that brain drain has so many benefits for Ghana as a whole in terms of money. And I said something earlier. If there is anything that is good for every single country, it is the same thing that is good for every single woman, and that is money. The chair, the house. With this, we fully urge the whole house to support us as we rally in full affirmation of the motion on board today. Quote, brain drain is good for Ghana. Unquote. The chair, the house. My assertions are clear. Rebuttals done. I bow.
The chair, the house. Having presented our arguments before this house, it is only right that we revisit our case. It is only right that we revisit our case. One, we asserted that brain drain weakens Ghana's capacity for sustainable national development by depriving the country of its most valuable resource, human capital. Two, brain drain transfers Ghana's investment, expertise, and future potential to foreign economies. Three, brain drain deepens critical sector challenges and undermines the delivery of essential services. Four, brain drain limits innovation, technological advancements, and Ghana's ability to compete globally. Five, brain drain creates dependency and prevents Ghana from building solutions needed for long-term self-reliance. Six, remittances do not fully compensate for human capital loss. Seven, we propose Ghana improve the conditions under which Ghana brains work. Eight, we also propose Return and Serve Ghana program, a practical solution into brain drain. Now the chair the house kindly permit me to clear the air on some erroneous assertions made by Abofo. Saint Hubert, today I will take you on an educational ride. That chair, in my first submission, I stated that they have substituted the concept for brain drain for brain gain. Instead of them to come out and rectify that, they still came here, mounted this podium and made the same allegation. The motion on board today is whether brain drain is good for Ghana. There is no part of the motion that says brain gain. They are confusing this. Instead of them to give benefits of brain drain, they have left the motion down and they are picking different concepts. Today, Abofo have deviated from the motion totally. They did not talk about the motion. They brought a different concept on board. They also went ahead to show a video of Dr. Osei Adutwum, our own founder. This professional left Ghana and brought back expertise. This is not what we term as brain drain. No. This is what we call brain gain. These are not synonymous concepts. They are different concepts. We have brain circulation, brain drain, and brain gain. Instead of them to argue for brain drain, they are here arguing for brain gain. There is no way that their argument holds water. They went ahead to make an assertion that when these foreign professionals travel out, they go to further their education. That is here, fellas. They have made a conceptual error. According to the president of Ghana Medical Association, President Mr. Frank Rebo, he said that at first they thought that when these people are traveling out, they are traveling out because they want to further their education. But then they had the thought that they need to build an institution where these surgeons and doctors can further their education. And after building such an institution, these people still traveling out, meaning that they care about their pockets, not about their education. So if they make an assertion that these skilled professionals from Ghana travel out to go and further their education, that is a wrong assertion. They also went ahead to make a statement that when we engage in brain drain reduces brain wastage. When these skilled professionals, a qualified midwife from Ghana can travel abroad and go and do care work. Some even stoop so low to do menial jobs. This is simply because their qualification do not give them the opportunity to work in mainstream hospital. So if you are serving as a midwife today, saving lives, bringing people onto this, but when you go there, you go and serve as a cleaner. With all due respect, I'm not saying cleaning is not a good job. It is a very good job. But for a qualified midwife in Ghana to travel abroad to go and engage in such a way, that is what we call brain wastage. They also went ahead and make an assertion that when these people travel out, they will go and bring back knowledge transfer. This is what we call brain circulation. It seems that during their research, they were not able to differentiate between these three concepts: brain drain, brain gain, and brain circulation. Now today, I will come down and be their coach. I will tutor them today on what these three concepts mean. Brain drain is a situation where a country loses skilled professionals through emigration, whereas brain circulation is where there is a transfer of knowledge and expertise across countries, whereas brain gain is a situation where skilled professionals travel out of their origin country and come back with more expertise. That's where the house. There will be always more abroad. Whether we give them employment, whether we improve their condition, there will always be more. Ghanaians need to exercise a little bit of patriotism, and we should also advocate to the government to improve their conditions. And that is what my supporting speaker suggested. With this, the chair of the house, Abofo and Sahus have deviated totally from the motion. They did not give at least even one instant on which goodness we gain from brain drain. They rather spoke of brain drain, which is a total deviation.
Listen, what they do here is not just about mounting the podium and then speaking to the motion. It's taking days, it's taking hours of preparation, it's taking research and understanding the motion to come here and do what they just did. Please, I know you are happy. Please put your hands together for these students. And for the very first time, I'm going to break protocol and do something I've never done before. Because oftentimes when we are here, we say, listen, tune into Love 97.5. Join us on television on Joy Learning. Or maybe watch us on the socials. You think we're joking. When you join us here, you enjoy the debate. There's a woman here. I don't know what brought her here, but I'm sure that she's enjoyed the house. I'm breaking protocol. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And how are you doing?
By God's grace, I'm good.
Without mentioning anybody's name, be it a debater or any school's name, how have you enjoyed your time with us here today?
I've really enjoyed being here because I am assistant headmistress of DSO Senior High, and I am happy to see our children coming out with what they have learned with supporting evidence, and I'm really thrilled.
Throughout the debate, be it the first contest or the second contest, you said, wow, yeah, like you were excited. What's going on in your mind?
I'm so excited that we still have students who are ready to learn and come out with important discussions, especially with the church paying tax. In fact, I really enjoyed it because this has been a debate that we've been thinking about it. Should they pay taxes or not?
Should it be registered as a business entity?
Yes. So I think they came out with the point, and most of us will take that into consideration.
What would you say to people who have time, who can join us here in this auditorium? What would you want to say to people who are listening, watching us and all that? If they have time, would you say they should join us here? Because has it been worth your while?
Of course.
So they should join us here?
Yes, I've learned a lot too as well.
Please put your hands together for her for me. She says she's assistant headmistress for DSA Senior High School. And listen, it's been awesome, it's been amazing, it's been entertaining, it's been informative, it's been educative, and I can go on and on and on and on. But listen, it's going to be sad for one school to advance and one school to be eliminated. But that is the rules of the game. One would advance, one will be eliminated. Which school is going to advance? Which school is going to advance? Well, we have only one spot or slot left for the semi-final stage. I don't know which of the two schools is going to be there, but whichever school it is, they are going to make their schools proud in the semis. Meanwhile, Charcoal Toothpaste has been formulated and produced under strict hygienic conditions with all the necessary protocols and approved by the FDA. Now, the constant use of Charcoal Toothpaste gives you fresh breath, whitens your teeth, reduces dental plaques, prevents cavity, and makes your gum healthy and strong. Now, Charcoal Toothpaste is recommended for adults and children from age 6. Get a pack of your local from your local supermarket today. It is another quality product from Samara Company Limited. Please call them on 0246 864 798 or 050 145 4462. Now, for bulk purchase and for inquiries, you can use that number. Charcoal Toothpaste, happy smile. A big thank you also goes out to the Christian Service University. Now they are admitting students for the 2026-2027 academic year. Now for the past 50 years and more, Christian Service University has been training ethical and visionary leaders who are making a difference in Ghana and beyond. Please apply now for the undergraduate and postgraduate programs, including the flagship Doctor of Ministry in Christian Leadership and Management, gain holistic education and grounded in Christian values with opportunities in scholarships, entrepreneurship, and employability for a better future. You can log on to www.csuc.edu.gh, or you can also find Christian Service University at Star Junction here in Kumasi, Asantase. Christian Service University, it is a university of choice. Now, Jackson University College is also here, and they are offering master's program in English and Maths, education, guidance and counseling, and educational leadership, as well as administration. Now, they also offer bachelor, post-diploma, and postgraduate programs in education. You can sign up for their short IT courses in digital marketing, software engineering, cybersecurity, web development, data analytics, and so much more. Call Jackson University College right now for more inquiries on 020-126-0290. At this point in time, before Patricia takes over from me, please put your hands together for these young, amazing, wonderful debaters. Thank you very much.
Okay, David, thank you so much. And are we ready for the Charcoal Toothpaste minute? Yes. Hey, only 3 people have responded. Are we ready? Yes. I have 5 beautiful bags here, and I'm going to give it all out for free. And I'm sure you know the questions I'm going to ask you already. Yes. Hey, yes or no? Yes. Okay, so who has the first answer? If you think you know the first question. Anybody? Rebecca, please help me select the person who will give me my first answer. If you think you know the first question I'm going to ask and you have the answer, please walk up to me right now.
Patricia, I think the first question is, what is the first question?
Okay.
What is the first question?
Okay, see, the question that I had there. Should I still ask? You know, we have some amazing individuals from Samara Company Limited who join us here. Hey, yes or no? Okay, so give me one of the reps, the names or the name of one rep from Samara Company Limited. Who is always here with us. He's a very handsome gentleman. I don't want to say he's bald. But he's very handsome. So please, who has the answer? Who knows the person I'm talking about? Hey, raise your hand. Simple question. Hey, Emrata, are you coming? I should ask the question, eh? Okay, so the question is, what is the name for the sales and marketing manager for Samara Company Limited? He's always here with us. A very simple question. Hello. Hey, please, if you think you know the answer, just walk up to me. And to the patrons too. Rebecca, will you bail them out? Rebecca, I want to give you the bag. Will you bail yourself?
I already have money, and you always tell me I'm terms and conditions. So
today you apply.
No,
please,
I'm terms and conditions.
Let's clap for Becca.
I am terms and conditions.
Becca.
Nope.
So I should hold on to that question.
Yes, hold on to that question.
No, don't worry. You people should still find the answer. I'll give it to you. So the next question I'm going to ask is, Samara Company, they are the proud producers of Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Right.
Please, apart from Sasso, which other products do they produce? Oh, please, let's clap for Sahus, eh? Boss, oh, you're not happy for your guy? Hey, clap for him now. Oh, please, join me. Let's clap for him again. The Venator guy. Hunter of souls, eh? All right, Chairman. Oh, draw closer to me. I know you are taller than me. Don't worry. So, the answer.
Apart from Sasso, they also produce Roma insecticide spray.
And what else?
And Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Hey, this boy. Oh, okay, please, let's clap for him. Hey, this one there. What's your name?
Upon Julius Nyameche.
Upon Julius Nyameche. He's gotten the first question right. Have you found the name for the person I'm looking for? Okay, so question number 2. Are we ready? Patrons, please, are we ready? I have a lot of goodies in this bag. Okay, so the second question is, I know anytime you come here, we are giving you or we give you Kel Charcoal Toothpaste, the miniature one, the 18 grams one. Since you used it, what has it done for you? Please, somebody should come and give me testimony. Somebody should come and give me testimony about Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
There's a young man behind you, Patricia, from high school.
Okay, please, let's clap for him as he comes to give us Adansidie. It's testimony time. Oh, please keep clapping for him. You are not happy? Oh. Matisse is a friend Gucci. Boss, is Gucci your name? Is he your father?
Please, Gucci is my name.
What's he say? Please, Gucci is my name. I look like a guy, eh? Anyway, so I understand you have a testimony about Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Bema, dear dance here.
When I use it to brush my teeth becomes very white. And when I smile, I have a happy smile.
And he does, Patricia.
Hey,
look at his teeth.
No, please add the rest.
I've given it to my siblings to also use, and they are dancing.
Please, it's part of the testimony. It's part of the testimony.
It works for them. It gives us better breath.
Allow. A round of applause for him. A round of applause for him. Make it louder. The energy is low. Make it louder.
Hey,
thank you.
Please, who also has another testimony? It is testimony
time.
It is Kel.
You want to hear from a lady.
Oh, okay, so let's take someone from Okes. Please clap for her. It is testimony time. It is the Kel Charcoal Toothpaste testimony time. Madam,
that's right.
Don't tell me the things he's mentioned. So I also be repeat here. So please. Also, dear dance here.
After using the Kel Charcoal toothpaste, I have gotten healthy gums, and also it has helped me to avoid tooth plaques.
Hey, Rebecca, please clap for the lady. Clap for the lady. But where's your Kel? Where's your Kel? Please, you don't have Kel, eh? You have, go and bring it and let me see. Please, let's clap for her. Testimony time. Oh, okay, it's true. It's true. Oh, please, let's clap for her again. Okay, so do we have someone from Osei Adutwum for the next question? Osas, are you there?
Yes.
Osas, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so come and give me the name of the company that produces Kel Charcoal toothpaste and their address. Hello, Osas.
Some hands were up. After hearing address, the hands went down.
Oh, you don't know. I might change my mind though. Osas, please come and do the needful. Let's clap for someone from Osas as they come to answer this question. And the last bag is going to go to a patron. So please, patrons, also get ready. Hey, Osas. Ekaba. Becca. A patron's hand is up. Please, dear patron, come down and let's do this. Let's clap for the patron. Let's clap for the patron.
Okay, Patricia, hold on. Let's do this.
Someone is
Let me walk up to her. And give her the microphone.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So, a student from Osas,
the company
get ready.
and the address.
All right.
I've seen people reading from the miniature park. You are looking for the address there.
Samara Limited.
Okay. That's Dome. Dome for Osas. Okay. Auntie, please continue. Samara Company Limited. The address.
Dunkirk, Kumasi. The one is in Accra.
Please clap for Dome. Where in Accra?
I cannot pronounce it well. I don't want to commit
Madam,
I know it's in East Legon. It begins with an A. I can't pronounce well.
Okay, you spell it. We'll pronounce it for you.
Patricia, give it to her.
Okay, so please, someone from Osas should come and take the bag and give it to Dome. Hey, come and take the bag. They look at her, they are hot and clap for her. So the Accra address is plot 144.
Please, it's not for you. It's not for you.
East Legon.
You didn't answer the question. Go and give it to her.
And in Kumasi, you can find Samara Company Limited at Dunkirk, right opposite the washing bay. Now to my very final question for the Kel Charcoal toothpaste minute is the question is in two parts. Which government institution has approved Kel Charcoal toothpaste? And how many grams of Kel Charcoal toothpaste do we have on the market? It is 2. I'm giving you the they are doing madam at my back. Please, who knows it? Oh, there's a very beautiful Becca, you are not selecting the person for me.
Please. I want somebody from Osas to answer the question. They've not come to answer any question today.
Hey, Osas.
So let's have this fine lady answer that question. So get up. A round of applause for her. Clap for her. Clap for her.
Clap for her. Clap for Madam Osas.
All right.
You have the answers, The 2 answers. Okay. So give me the first answer. You know the question already.
Food and Drugs Authority.
Should I make her spell Food and Drugs Authority?
Oh.
You people don't want me in your classroom. Okay, so how many grams do we have for Kel Charcoal toothpaste?
150 grams and 18 grams.
Wait, the second answer again.
18 grams.
No, the 18 is just a miniature thing that we did to share for everybody.
50 and 1.
Okay, so the point is I'm still going to give her the bag. She got at least 2 parts of the question right. It's 150 and 80 grams, okay? The smaller ones that you have here, we just decided to do these miniature ones to share for everybody. So please, let's clap for Osas.
All right.
And since you don't want me to let her spell Food and Drugs Authority, it will be the next question. But you won't get any gifts. I should give you something. Okay, I'm going to do that. You know I'm generous like that. But make sure that you're getting yourself a pack of Kel Charcoal toothpaste at any supermarket. It is FDA approved. It is very, very affordable. And when you use Kel Charcoal toothpaste, remember that it whitens your teeth. It gives you fresher breath. It reduces dental plaque. It has anti-cavity properties. It also makes your gums healthy and strong. And ultimately, it gives you what? Happy smile. It gives you what?
Happy Smile.
Yes, we have offices across all the 16 regions of Ghana. Look for us in Kumasi at Dunkirk, right opposite the washing bay. And also, if you are in Accra, look for our corporate office at plot 144 Sasso Street at Dringano, East Legon. That is Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for you. We also have Kel 360, Kel Kits. All of these are brands from Samara Company Limited. Also, watch out for Feco Spray Starch when you go to any supermarket. If you want to look sharp, it is that which you need to use to iron your clothes, okay? And also get Roma insecticide spray and coil, as well as Sasso insecticide spray and coil. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Happy Smile.
They are not happy today. I don't know why they are not smiling.
They're just anxious.
Rebecca, please.
Patricia, they're just anxious. They want to know whether their school made it or not. So let me ask again. Which schools are making it to the next stage? Which schools are making it to the next stage? Are you sure? Is it Okes? Is it Sahus? Is it high school? Is it Osas? Which school is it going to be? All right. May the best schools make it through. However, I have some messages here for you from social media. Are you ready? Are you ready? You should know the response by now. When I say, are you ready? What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, so I have this one from Abbas, and he says, wow, Kuhis, I like your presentation. Well elaborated and clear. Good work done. Bless them, Raymond. Cappuccino says the Kuhis boy is too good. Jazzy says the motion is in the boys' favor, but it seems they want to let Okes win. Micah says Okes with fire, eloquence, and eloquence is very powerful. Vibe with me says let's bet Kuhis is winning. Remember, we are never to be conquered. Kentra says Okes is winning this year. He's trying to say Okes is winning the entire competition this year. Global says Osas, my debaters from Upper West are looking and learning from you, so make us proud. Chocolati says Osas all the way. Big KB says back in the game, heat Osas. Until Sunset says even her voice is a winning voice. Go there, Osas. Abbas says, see how Dr. Peter opened his mouth. He is shocked. He doesn't know what marks to give this girl from Osas. Go there, Ajubi. Khadija also says the supporting speaker for Sahus needs to be the main speaker. Mr. Forsen says, a very calm and cheerful flow. This school is too good. Osas, shout power. All right, so which school is making it to the next stage? Which school is making it to the next stage? Everyone on your feet. On your feet, everybody. You have been an amazing audience, and I want you to give it up for yourselves. A round of applause for yourselves. Make some noise. It's not loud enough. It's not loud enough. Okay, not for yourselves, but your debaters. For your debaters, make it louder for them. I appreciate all your debaters. Now, I want somebody to come down here and lead all of us in Jama for just 1 minute. All of us are going to do this exercise. So I need one person. High school, are you coming? Okes, are you coming? All right. So we are all going to clap and respond. What's your name?
Kelvin.
Kelvin, the microphone is yours.
So let's start like this. Nise. I say come and see you. Let's go. Come and see you. Come and see what the Lord has done. 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 I say come and see you. Come and see you. Come and see what the Lord has done. 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 Meeting say, I don't be. Let's go, Efrefe. I'm too funny now. Sada is so make a obiana. Sada is so make a meeting say, I don't be river. Efrefe. I'm too funny now. Sada is so. Oh, Sada is so. Koto jenina we koto no. Keche mani na we kafuno. Koto jenina we koto no. Keche mani na we. Who has the final say? Let's go. I say who has the final say? Jehovah turned my life around. Let's go. He turned my life around. He makes a way when there is no way. Jehovah has the final say. I say, who has the final say? I say, who has the final say? All right, do a big one for yourselves. You've been amazing. A round of applause for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. David, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Patricia. And to all the students in this auditorium, listen, I've enjoyed your morale, I've enjoyed the energy, I've enjoyed your company. Please put your hands together for yourselves one more time. So we gathered here this afternoon, the 26th of August 2026, to have the third and fourth contest at the quarterfinal stage of the Love FM Kelchako Toothpaste High Schools debate. And trust me, you've made it worth our while. The results are in. And for the very first time, I don't even know how to go about the results. All I would ask you to do is listen with rapt attention. And then if you don't mind, wait for me till I am done and I explain a few things before, if you have to celebrate, you celebrate. The first competition was between Osei Kyerewie Senior High School and two-time champions Kumasi High School. This is a majority decision victory, or a majority decision for the school that advances to the semi-final stage of this year's competition. Ukes, as you are aware and as you know, you were for the motion, so I'll go through your results first. When it comes to organization and clarity, you got 26 from a judge, 25 from a judge, and yet 26 from another judge. 26, 25, 26 sums up to 77 for Ukes by way of organization and clarity. Argument and development, you got 27 from one of our judges, 24 from the second judge, and 25 from the third judge. 27, 24, 25 sums up to 76. Still with Ukes, effective use of rebuttal, you got 15 from a judge, 12 from a judge, and 11 from a judge. So 15, 12, 11 amounts to 38. Let's take a look at the results you got for presentation style. You got 14 from a judge, 12 from a judge, and 13 from another judge. 14, 12, 13 sums up to 39. Roll as a particular debater Ukes, you got 9 from one of our judges, 9 from another judge, and then 8 from the last judge. 9, 8 sums up to 26. So let's put them together. 77, 76, 38, 39, 26 sums up to 256 for Osei Kyerewie Senior High School. Then to Kumasi High School, Kuhis. Organization and clarity, you got 26 from a judge, 24 from a judge, and 25 from another judge. 26, 24, 25 sums up to 75. Argument and development, Kumasi High School, you got 26 from a judge, 24 and then 25 from the last judge. 26, 24, 25 sums up to 75. Effective use of rebuttal, you got 9 from one of our judges, 12 from the other judge, and then 13 from the last judge. 9, 12, 13 sums up to 34. Presentation style, you got 14 from one judge, 10 from another, and then 12 from the last judge. 14, 10, 12 sums up to 36. Role as a particular debater, Kumasi High School, you got 9 from a judge, 8 from a judge, and then another 8 from the last judge. 9, 8, 8 sums to 25, sums up to 25. So 75, 35, 34, 36, 25 sums up to 245. So with a majority decision, Osei Kyerewie Senior High School advances to the semi-final stage of this year's competition with 256 points. Now the scores, hold on. Ahema, hold on. Now the results for the other competition that was between St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School and Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Students from OKS, settle down. Please. Thank you. Now the results for the competition between St. Hubert Seminary and Osei Adutwum Senior High School. This has never happened before, so listen attentively to the scores or the results. Organizational clarity, St. Hubert, you got 23 from a judge, 26 from a judge, 23 from the last judge. 23, 26, 23 sums up to 72. Argument and development, St. Hubert, you got 24 from one of our judges, 26 from the second judge, 23 from the third judge. 24, 26, 23 sums up to 73. Okay, silence. Effective use of rebuttal, you got 12 from one of our judges, 15 from the other judge, and then 11 from the last judge. 12, 15, 11 sums up to 38. When it comes to presentation styles in Hubert, you got 11 from a judge, 13 from a judge, and then 11 from the last judge. 11, 13, 11 sums up to 35. Role as a particular debater, St. Hubert, you got 8 from one of our judges, 9 from another, and then 8 from the last judge. 8, 9, 8 sums up to 25. Let's put it together. 72, 73, 38, 35, 25 sums up to 250 for St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School. Now the results for Osei Adutwum Senior High School. Organization and clarity, you got 26 from a judge, 25 from a judge, and then 25 from the last judge. So 26, 25, 25 sums up to 76. Argument and development, Osei Adutwum Senior High School. You got 26 from one of our judges. The other gave you 26, and then the last judge gave 24. 26, 26, 24 sums up to 76. Effective use of rebuttal was asked. You got 12 from one of our judges, 11 from the other, and then 13 from the last judge. So 12, 11, 13 sums up to 36. Presentation style, Judge 1 gave you 12, Judge 2, 13, Judge 3, 12. 12, 13, 12 sums up to 37. Role as a particular debater, you got 8 from one of our judges, 9 from the second judge, and then 8 from the last judge. So 8, 9, 8 sums up to 25. Let's put it together. 76, 76, 36, 37, 25 sums up to 250, just like that of St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School. But by a majority decision, 12 judges scored for the winning school. The school that won is St. Hubert Seminary Senior High School. So although the scores were the same, 250, 250, but the majority judges' decision, 12 judges scored for St. Hubert. So St. Hubert settled down. St. Hubert settled down. Ahema, we've got 3 minutes to celebrate your victory, whether you want to sing your full anthem or whatever. 3 minutes. It starts now. It starts now. St. Hubert, hold on. Okay, celebrate your victory. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you. And now we're going to continue with the celebration on your way to school. Seminary Senior High School, it's your turn. Celebrate your victory. And once you do this, Patricia Mabosi, take it away.
Okay, so thank you so much, David. And we have come to the end of quarterfinal stage of the Love FM Calchaco Toothpaste High School debate here at the Christian Service University. And at the end of the day, we have Osei Kyerewie Senior High School and St. making it out to the semi-final stage of this competition. Congratulations to all the schools that have so far participated. We are still live on radio, Love 99.5 FM, live on Joy Learning, and also on Joy. I want to say thank you to the Ghana Education Service, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Conference of First of Assistant Senior High Schools, and our proud sponsor, Calchaco Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited. And I have in my shot right now the debaters, of course, from Osei Kyerewie Senior High School. Beautiful lady who was a supporting speaker, and of course the principal speaker right here. Now you have got into the semi-final stage. Technically, it means you are seeded for next year. How does that make you feel?
Well, I would like to thank God how far He has brought us. We didn't expect this, but His mercies and greatness has been upon us since the zonals to this stage. We thank God of what He has done for us. We are very grateful.
Okay, we are very grateful to God. Let me go to this beautiful lady here. And now you've got into also the semi-final stage. What do you think you did differently today?
We did nothing, but we just gave our best, and that is what we do every day. But first of all, we want to thank God for what He has done for us, so they should watch out for us in the semi-finals. Yes.
Okay, and talking of the semi-finals, let me speak to Sir Michael Yabua. You are potentially going to meet schools like KNUS Senior High School, Church of Christ Senior High School, and of course St. Hubert Seminary. Do you have a message for them?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to God for this victory. Then to them, I want them to prepare, seriously prepare. For whenever we receive a motion, we don't rest. We don't rest. So they should always be ready for us, as and when.
Okay, they should always be ready for us as and when. That's the message from Osei Kyerewie Senior High School. Let's now speak to St. Hubert Seminary. Yes, our debaters and of course their patron in our shots right now. And I see, I'm just going to go to you. 250, 250. What was the first thing running through your mind when you even heard the marks were the same?
In fact, I wasn't surprised. We anticipated such a close contest, and we had a close contest. They were a good side, and they lived up to expectations. So I wasn't surprised at the turnout.
And what was the plan for the semi-finals from St. Hubert Seminary?
I think we are going to the finals. It doesn't matter the opposition in the semi-final. We are going to the finals.
Do you believe what your teacher just said?
Of course, I trust my patron 100%. We know we are not here to compete. We are here to dominate.
And what would you want to tell your friends from Osei Adutwum Senior High School?
We thank them for such a compelling contest. There was a really good contest. We thank them for that. But sometimes you actually need favor. And then God has really shown that Sawus is with us. Thank you.
Okay, so God has shown us Sawus is with you. And let me go. Come. That's George. Hey, Gerald, sorry. That's Gilbert. Hey, these people. Anyway, so your teacher is saying that the road to the finals is what you are looking for or you are looking at. What would a victory or being the final winners mean for St. Hubert Seminary?
It will mean a lot to the school management and to my family, to my patrons, and to my supporters.
And what is the plan? What are you doing differently if you want to get to that side?
So we will go back to the drawing board and see our mistakes, where we flopped, we go back to the drawing board. That's it.
Okay, so St. Hubert Seminary says they are going back to the drawing board to correct where they got things wrong, and for them, they are looking at the ultimate trophy, becoming the winners of the 8th edition of the Love FM Calchaco Toothpaste High School debate. My name is Patricia, and I would like to say thank you so much for listening to us on radio, Love 99.5 FM, watching us on TV, Joy Prime, Joy Learning, and also would like to say thank you to our collaborators. They include, of course, the Ghana Education Service, the Ashanti Regional Students Representative Council, the Conference of First of Assistant Senior High Schools, and our title sponsor, that is Calchaco Toothpaste from Samara Company Limited, ensuring that we all have a happy smile. Get one in any supermarket, I must say today, remember it's FDA approved and it's also very, very much affordable. On Monday, God willing, we'll come your way with another edition here on the Love FM Kel Chaco Toothpaste High School's debate. My name is Patricia. We say thank you so much. We'll see you. Bye-bye for now.
International in the year 2022.
The battle of brilliant ideas